We're going to go via Zoom to someone who may have the answer to our stupid question this morning. What cheese's name literally means recooked in Italian? Never heard this before, but maybe Eddie has because he's the guy we're going to talk to. Eddie, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
All right, Eddie, do you know what cheese's name literally means recooked in Italian?
Ricotta.
Ricotta. That is correct, yes. Hang on, buddy. We are going to give you a pair of tickets as MMR rocks Eliza Schlesinger at the Met, Philly on Friday, November 7th at 7 p.m. And for more information and another chance to win tickets, you can go to WMMR.com. So ricotta it means recooked in Italian.
You got the re in it, right?
Yep, exactly. All right, so we got some stories. We're going to start with this one. Drake Bell is speaking out about his painful past with his former Drake and Josh co-star Josh Peck. Bell recalled his time working with Brian Peck, no relation, on a Nickelodeon set before Peck was convicted of sexually assaulting him in 2004. So he had a few different things to say. We have some clips.
Yeah, this is part of that. So this all came out after that Quiet on the Set documentary, which was pretty eye-opening.
Yep. So he opens up about revealing the sexual assault trauma. Here we go on the set.
I could never have known at that age was all the things you were going through.
Yeah.
For the most part, it wasn't shared with me. This separation started between us.
Yep. And so they reflect on their friendship and the separation of that. Here we go.
But I came back to the same stage, the same parking lot, the same dressing room.
Everything's triggering.
And in the back of my head, the whole time I'm working with doing the pilot, I know that there's this investigation happening.
And they had a chance to reunite following the Quiet on the Set drama, and this is them talking about that.
Dude, when lights, camera, action, and I walk in and Josh is wearing a dress, like, that was where I actually was comfortable and happy and stoked, and I'm very proud of what we did.
So Bell had revealed where I felt most comfortable, where I was the happiest with you guys on the set, and that's what he's talking about there. And he said, he goes on to admit that while he didn't know about Bell's assault, this is him saying that he looked back on their time as a kid show and he sensed the separation between them, and the conversation follows the revelations in the Quiet on the Set docuseries exposing the workplaces at Nickelodeon under showrunner Dan Schneider. And Josh admitted that he didn't fully grasp the depth of Bell's drama until watching the documentary. And he said, it's so much deeper. It's so much more unacceptable. So there's a two series part of the podcast. And Thursday, the other part is going to be revealed.
So the bizarre thing is Schneider, who has his own allegations of maybe there's no sexual assault allegations against him. This other guy, there is.
Right.
So during the trial, when they had this guy up in court that they were, suing for this, no one believed Drake Bell. And the only one who did and kind of showed up in court to support him was Schneider. Right? That's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan Schneider.
Yeah.
I read, oh my God, what was her name from iCarly?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
I read her book. I'm glad my mom is dead.
McCurdy?
Yeah, Jeanette McCurdy. And this was well before this documentary came out, and she talks about Dan Schneider, doesn't name him specifically in it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. She said the guy was just as manipulative as you could possibly be.
Wow.
It's in fact more of the complaints were the cruelty and the you have kids, like you have girls who are 13 and kind of still have child weight,
vulnerable
age. Yeah, couldn't you take off a few pounds? Yeah. And here's this guy who's a 50-gallon drum.
And not only that, but he He ruled the roost,
Yeah.
and he knew it,
Yeah.
and he threw his weight around, metaphorically.
So his-
in that he's the boss, and he would pit people against each other, and he would promise things that weren't true, and he would just really a bastard.
His edge was he was successful.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, I guess I better listen.
Yep,
I'm not
exactly.
working.
So, all right, on to lighter stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Grant Ellis has reached his end of his time on The Bachelor, and the leading man has found his other half. There is love.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people fall in substantial, eternal love on this show.
Ellis struggled to decide which of his two final women, Letitia Garr and Juliana Pascarosa.
Well, the real struggle, he couldn't figure out how to button his shirt.
Ellis leaned on his parents, who reunited in the same room for the first time in years as they both met Garr and Pascarosa during the dating show's
Mommy,
finale.
Daddy, I'm getting married.
Ultimately, Ellis chose to give his final rose to Pascarosa and proposed to her in Punta Cana, and the pair are now engaged.
Don't you think that Rochelle would have been totally okay with you just a couple of days earlier, kind of waffling back and forth between her and another woman?
Of course, yeah.
Don't you think she would realize that when you proposed to her, it would be sincere because
Steve?
72 hours had lapsed?
I think she would have been clutching her handkerchief and all nervous and just hoping for the best.
He chose me.
Yeah. So pathetic.
I think she would only be down with it if it actually started with like 30 women.
Yeah.
And then you had to whittle
Yes.
it down.
Yes. So Ellis started out on The Bachelor season 29 by counting 25 women and gave his first impression rose to Alexi, a 27-year-old pediatric speech therapist from New Brunswick, Canada.
Alexi, I banged a lot of women to get here.
By hometown dates, Ellis narrowed his final 4 women down to Garr Pascarosa, Dina Lupanku, and Zoe McGrady.
I didn't pick her because I can't say her name.
He sent Lupanku home after hometown dates and eventually bid farewell to McGrady after fantasy suites dates.
Come on!
And had Ellis spend the night with McGrady, Garr, and
But
Pascarosa.
think about how lucky she is that he picked her.
You
know.
picked me.
Yeah.
This
Get
isn't
me-
medieval.
The hell out of here.
Do you have the second clip where they talk about their journey?
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Sure, I didn't know we had any
listen,
clips
yeah,
at all. Okay, here we go.
Telling him that it may take me some time to get there, but he gave me grace. And in the small conversations we had building up to Scotland, I really found a safe space in you, Grant. And it just allowed me to feel okay to open up to you and let you see all the sides of me.
When we were in Scotland, I had feelings. I knew I had feelings. Then we flew over the top of the world, and then we had a hot air balloon ride over a volcano. And now life comes.
Yeah.
And now you're going to have to live with this slob.
And now
Well,
you got to take
let's-
out the trash.
Let's get the moment where he professes his undying love and proposes to her. Here we go.
Juliana? Will you marry me?
Did she literally say a million times yes?
Yes, she said a million times yes.
Really?
Get the hell out of here.
What is that originally from?
Who cares?
Yes, yes, a million times yes.
Will you marry me?
A million times.
I hate everyone so
And then when they talk
much.
about the journey, my space and my... Oh, my God.
I just wish she'd shut up.
I might feel how Casey did about Vanderbilt. Like, I don't
Vanderpump.
I
even
know.
want
Vanderpump?
to-
Yeah.
Vanderpump,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't even want to talk about this.
All right. So before the finale wrapped up, the show offered a sneak peek into the new season of Bachelor in Paradise, set to premiere this summer after taking a year off. The new season comes with a big twist. With Palmer revealing that cast members from Golden Bachelor and Golden Bachelorette will join the fun in Mexico alongside their younger counterparts.
Nice. They won't feel out of place.
Wow. We'll see how that
So this
works
is a
out.
lead up to the new series, Bachelor in Active War Zone.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one I'm on board for. Wow. Okay. So that one's in the books, gang. All right, I have a couple of other things to mention. Jennifer Aniston and Pedro Pascal are not an item. The two stars recently were spotted chatting at the Sunset Tower Hotel in West Hollywood after having dinner at the Tower Bar there, which led rumors flying fast and loose that the two were romantically linked.
It looked pretty romantic because they were both eating hummus out of his Mandalorian helmet.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Well, sources told TMZ, however, the dinner was a group thing. And the sources say that the two were not alone and they are not dating and they're just friends with a lot of mutual friends. Sources for In Touch also hit back at the rumors. They said everyone is hoping that Jen and Pedro's dinner date is a sign of blossoming romance, but unfortunately, they're just friends. They're both getting a kick out of all the buzz. Even their friends are calling them and asking them what's going on.
Do you know and
Nothing doing.
It's probably kind of stupid on my part, but maybe you understand it. Like The Mandalorian, which I love, season 1 and 2, season 3 was crap.
Yeah.
But when I found out Pedro was just the voice, and another guy was in the costume.
Is that the case?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought you guys told me that he was really in there. Wow.
Is it kind of stupid that I feel that way? Or you know what I'm saying?
A little cheated?
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah.
Not if you the whole time felt that was him. I get it.
Yeah.
No.
I love you.
Love Pedro.
I love Pedro.
Rumors were already swirling about Sydney Sweeney's relationship with fiance Jonathan Davino possibly being a little shaky, so this isn't going to help. Fans and followers have noticed a picture of the couple kissing ahead of the new year was removed from an Instagram carousel that she had shared.
There you go. And she went on safari without him, too.
Yeah, they were first rumored to be together in 2018. They got engaged in 2022. They weathered rumors that Sweeney was stepping out with co-stars Glenn Powell and Brandon Sklenar in the past, but this couple with the pair reportedly positioning their May wedding date last month will fire up the rumor mill again. So
and there's a new picture on Instagram of her taking a dump on the engagement ring.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's
to me,
an
that's
indicator.
sending a signal.
But also, like, that's precision right there, man.
Well, she's not completely targeting.
Okay.
She carpet bombs.
Okay.
Precision. So it seems like Emily in Paris star Lucas Bravo has found a new partner in Aaron Rodgers' ex, Shailene Woodley.
Lucas Bravo is a great name because you always feel like people are cheering you. Lucas Bravo.
The two actors were spotted together in Paris on Sunday, looking fairly cozy together. After Rodgers, Woodley was seen out to dinner last summer with a mystery man.
Ooh.
But that apparently went nowhere as she and Bravo seemed to be into each other, holding hands, hugging, and getting close. So,
What's the status of is she up for playing Janis Joplin? I think Janis Joplin, is that the word?
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I thought she was playing some female rock icon.
Marissa just gave a thumbs up, so she has heard the same thing, right?
Yeah, I think if it's not in production yet, it's definitely getting started.
All right.
And that's why Amanda Seyfried went on Jimmy Fallon the other day and sang that Joan Baez song.
Oh, okay.
Did you guys see that?
No.
Okay, this is what it kind of feels like, but everyone's accepting it. Who was the chick that went on to play Catwoman on like Carson?
Sean Young.
Sean Young.
Oh, who did
Yes.
she did an impromptu audition on TV.
Oh, there you go. So it's one of those situations?
Yeah, so that's what Amanda Seyfried did. But it was like this beautiful rendition of the song, and all of these singers and people in the music industry were like, "That's a really hard song." She did a really great job.
Maybe
So it's kind
she
of-
served her career. It didn't work for Sean Young, I'll tell you that.
No.
All right, so one of Hollywood's biggest heartthrobs of the 90s and 2000s is moving away from that, and in the 2020s, he's going to change his tone. George Clooney is leaving the romantic leads to the next generation. On 60 Minutes Sunday, the two-time People's Sexiest Man Alive told the interviewer, "Look, I'm 63 years old. I'm not trying to compete with 25-year-old leading men. That is not my job. I'm not doing romantic films anymore." So it's just him making it official. He hasn't starred in a romantic comedy since 1996 in One Fine Day anyway, but I guess he was asked about that, and he's like, nope, that's not going to happen.
Still looks good.
He does
So
look
he
great.
did dye his hair a darker color. It looks really weird.
Really?
He's on Broadway for a role.
Okay.
He's playing the man with the darker hair color. It's the title.
That's the title,
Yeah.
Man with the Darker Hair. So listen to this lineup. So Seth Rogen has revealed the stacked cast for his upcoming Apple TV Plus show, The Studio. The series stars Rogen as Matt Remick, who is the new head of a Hollywood studio. In a new teaser, he lists off all the people that he was excited to have included in the show. And he said, I kind of viewed it like I was putting a band together. So Catherine O'Hara, Catherine Hahn, Ike Barinholtz, Chase Sui Wonders, Bryan Cranston, Kayla Monterosso, Magia, and Dwayne Perkins are set to star. But that's not all. There are a ton of Hollywood talent making an appearance, and it's like 3 pages long or so.
Scorsese's in it too.
I'll give you the list. Aaron Sorkin, Dave Franco, Greta Lee, Ice Cube, as you said, Martin Scorsese, Steve Buscemi, Zac Efron, and these are just a few. Charlize Theron, Gene Smart, Johnny Knoxville, Josh Hutcherson, Olivia Wilde, Paul Dano, Quinta Brunson, Rhea Perlman, Ron Howard, Zoe Kravitz, Zack Snyder, Zac Efron. These are all in alphabetical order, by the way, and I left out a ton. So there are a gazillion people that are going to be on this show.
We should touch base with Zack Snyder at some point.
And also, the person behind the music is somebody we've had here in the studio, and I've jammed with. Jazz musician Antonio Sanchez.
Very nice.
Is the man that is doing the music. So that's awesome. I'm happy for him in that regard. But this is...
Hopefully it's a good one.
There's going to be a ton of cameos, obviously, is the way this is going to work out. But yeah, Zack Snyder's going to be in that too, which is really cool. Linda Cardellini is stepping into the horror world as Pamela Voorhees in Crystal Lake. Peacock's Friday the 13th prequel series from May 24.
Turns out she was a hell of a mom.
The show's premise is still under wraps, but Cardellini's Pamela is said to be a former singer who gave up her career to raise a special needs child until tragedy pushes her down a dark path.
This could be interesting.
Yep. In the original Friday the 13th, Pamela, Jason Voorhees' vengeful mother, was famously played by Betsy Palmer. And the new series created by Brad Caleb Kane will expand on her story.
So they're saying, Casey, that in tone it's going to be a lot like the Hogan family?
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
Well, there's a death in that.
There's a death in that, yeah.
They killed
character.
off Valerie, yeah.
Yeah, So Tom Everett Scott is heading to Prime Video's Legally Blonde prequel series. So that's Stifler, right?
Yeah.
No. I know who it is.
Yeah.
He's the drummer for the Oneaters.
Right.
There you go. Thank you. And so he is going to be playing the dad, Wyatt Woods. So he'll be playing Elle's dad.
That's cool.
The show from creator Laura Cottrell explores Elle's high school years and the experiences that shaped her into the future Harvard Law student. Scott joins Lexi Mindtree as Elle and June Diane Raphael as her mom, Eva.
By the way, the thing in Legally Blonde, that Ben Snap thing.
Yeah.
I always thought that was the most awkward looking move.
It was stupid looking.
If that was supposed to be sexy. I'm like,
yeah. It actually
made you look like a praying mantis.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Praying mantis.
Is that supposed to be
or T-Rex?
Yeah.
You know, something like that.
Looked totally
I
stupid.
never really did get that.
That was supposed to be seductive?
In the original movie, Elle's parents, played by James Reed and Tane McClure, only had small rules as the lawyer's uber wealthy parents who weren't very supportive of Elle's dreams to go to Harvard. A trailer for season 2 of Andor has been released. The Disney Plus Star Wars series that leads up to the events of 2016's Rogue One will wrap with the 12-episode second season, which will be broken down into 4 chapters of 3 episodes each.
So in that entire universe, in that entire Disney, Star Wars, TV universe, Andor is the standout with the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. Andor's, the problem is that there's been such... around it that I think a lot of people might just skip this.
Oh, really?
But
I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, well, you're not, because you weren't. You were into the first season. You're not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who kind of just get whittled down because of the
Because there's too much bad stuff out there, or just average stuff. Oh, okay.
No,
yeah.
I agree. I'm on board with this. I really enjoyed Andor, and I just think it's like what's happening with Daredevil. Daredevil's really good. But I think a lot of the audience just gets beaten down. And
you got it. Yeah, that's a shame. Yeah, because this is by far the best Star Wars stuff out there since Rogue One, and it's character driven with the fact that it has 12 episodes. It allows it time for the story to build. Preston, you love Eben Moss-Bachrach from The Bear. He's in the first season. He's fantastic in it. So it's really well done. Steve, that's a shame. I wish more people watched it because it's really good.
Listen, that remains to be seen. In Daredevil, we know for a fact that it's bombing.
Really?
And it's really great, or really good, I should say.
How long are the episodes?
Like half 30 minutes, 40 minutes, something like that.
Okay.
The consumable.
Okay. So
if you like Rogue One, you're going to dig this.
The first chapter will premiere April 22nd. Subsequent chapters debuting weekly. And Andor Season 2 stars Diego Luna, Ben Mendelsohn, Alan Tudyk, Stellan Skarsgård, Forrest Whitaker, and others. One more quick story, and then we'll get to the clips. Let me see. Which one do I want to end with this one? How about this? While Max is taking great pains to say nothing is official yet, the Big Bang Theory spinoff, Stuart Fails to Save the Universe, has taken another step towards being an actual series. The 4 stars of the proposed spinoff gathered for what was an unofficial table read. So John Ross Bowie, who played Barry Kripke in the original series and reprises his role here, posted to Instagram pics of him, Kevin Sussman, Lauren Lapkus, and Brian Posehn with the caption saying, "And so it begins."
Posehn was great in that series.
Including a sign that reads SFTSU table read. So while Max and Warner Brothers Television don't want to confirm anything, it looks like the stars are starting to align for that show. All right, we can now play the clips. Fans of The Rookie are obsessed with the cast's behind-the-scenes TikToks. And in this clip, Nathan Fillion and Jenna Dewan talk about how hard it is to get Nathan's choreography down.
I watched them practice and talking. It was like they're talking a different language. Clearly, it makes sense to dance.
The language is like,
but it's a 5/6, and then you come around for the 3/4, and then you twist the thing, right? Okay, yes, okay. But and it's like a math problem. They're going back and forth. Clearly, it made sense to them because then they do it. It was tight.
It was really fun.
It's not funny.
New episode of The Rookie airs today. That's on Hulu.
By the way, he's been a rookie for like 18 years.
Right.
Yeah.
At some point.
When do you lose your rookie status?
Yeah. Here's our next clip. Survivor star Pravati Shallow has joined a new tropical reality show. And here she compares Deal or No Deal Island to an iconic final scene of Survivor episodes.
They were really shaking things up with this season of Deal or No Deal, and it felt like Final Tribal Council. It felt like there was a jury, and the 3 finalists would have a chance to sort of plead their case through these actions. It was like an action-oriented tribal council.
What the hell are you talking about?
Oh, my God. The season finale of Deal or No Deal Island airs today, and that is on Peacock.
It's one of my favorite Homer clips.
All right, and that is what I have in the entertainment report for you this morning. All right, so we got a couple guests on the show today. Julia Fisher Farbman is a writer and producer of a movie that takes place here in Philadelphia. It's called Aubrey's Children. It stars Natalie Dormer. Looks really good.
her.
And I love these types of movies where they've taken a scientist or a very brilliant individual who's working on groundbreaking research and eventually gets where they need to be in the story of that progression. I love those type of films.
So for CHOP, and she's also the co-founder of Ronald McDonald House.
Yeah, so she is going to
amazing.
She's going to be joining us. Julia Fisher Farbman will this morning. And Colin Mochrie will be on the program, too. He and Brad Sherwood are going to be in Wilmington at the Copeland Hall at the Grand for a show coming up on Sunday, so we'll talk to him as well. And we have a concert announcement on the way later today, too. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back in a moment. Stay put.
Preston and Steve.
Had some run-ins. Last year, she was locked up after cops pulled her over for joyriding in an allegedly stolen car.
She was locked up for 7 days.
Is the phone rings after 7 days or something like that?
In 7 days. Yeah, that's when you die. You have 7 days to get your affairs in order before you're... 7 days.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie. 6.5.
7 business days.
Business days? So that means I get the weekend, too?
Well, it's Monday's Labor Day, so about 8 days. All right, just stay there. I'm going to come over and kill you now.
Yeah, if you could be more specific, it might help in planning. So,
what if I go across the international date line? Let me get back to you.
Coming up soon, we'll be addressing Halloween. But it's a favorite costume for Halloween parties and haunted houses.
Which is the one where you go to where they have a girl who really does the full, clicking and the whole body gesticulation.
Is that Penhurst?
No, it's there's probably one there, but there's one, maybe it's
there's one
it's the one way out where we always get lost going to.
It's in Bucks County.
Yeah.
I know exactly the one you're talking about.
Yeah, but the girl who does...
Fear?
Nah.
Might be.
Valley of Fear.
It's out kind of in a woodsy area.
It's Grotto of Consternation is the name of it.
Hang on. Chrissy is on the line to tell us about that haunted attraction. And it is Valley of Fear, isn't it? So it's Valley of Fear?
It
is Valley of Fear, and the girl who does play the one from The Ring, who was there for a long time, Liz, is just a phenomenal singer too. I just wanted to let you guys know.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah, she's incredible. She's incredibly talented.
And she was good. It says you were moving along, she'd move along, and she never sang really, but she
didn't
I'm
sing.
the chick from The Ring, and I'm coming after you.
So her name is Liz.
Yes, Liz.
All right, cool. Thank you, Chrissy. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Cause in 7 days
See ya.
you're through. Chappa-da-ba.
All right.
It's not that scary.
I know it's not
Yeah.
scary when you sing it.
Yeah, right? Wouldn't it be a little less if it were a musical?
I live in a well and my life's kind of hell, and I'm coming after you.
My life's kind of hell.
I'm the chick in the well, and my life's kind of hell, but I'm a coming after you in 7 days. 7 days.
In 7 days.
7 days. 7 days.
Coming after you in 7 days.
Hey.
The Ring, the musical.
Turn my mic on. You turn his mic off.
I didn't turn it off. I think you might have hit the button yourself there, dude.
Uh-oh.
No, there we go. I just hit that button.
All right.
Wait a second. What's going on?
Wait a
What just
second.
happened here?
Your mic will turn off in 7 seconds. Your mic will turn off in 7 seconds. What? I don't have a mic.
Lindsay Lohan.
I was just watching Mean Girls last night on E.
Well, there was this video of her dancing over the weekend, and it went viral.
Is it laughable, sexy?
I'm hesitant to even say viral. Like, how many does it take before it's called viral?
Good question.
You know,
Viral is, yeah.
So I just saw it this morning, and it's her dancing. And
what is it?
To be honest, it's not that big of a deal. It's just her dancing around a little bit, but some people have made a thing about it. She flips her hair in it. She leans her head down and flips her hair way up. So people are making a thing about that.
Oh my gosh.
Here, hang on. And there's the hair flip. So she does it twice.
That's
We're
a thing?
watching the video of it right now. And, well, now Busy Phillips and Kelly Oxford are getting in on the action. They spoofed Lindsay's now viral dance to the song Pillow Talk.
Oh, snap.
While Lindsay snapped her fingers and flipped her hair at her beach club in, I don't know where it is, Phillip and Oxford got down in the kitchen.
Oh,
and
man.
Phillips wrote on Instagram, honestly, it's weirdly harder to nail than it seemed. Respect.
All right.
What's going on?
They're throwing
I don't
shade.
know.
They're throwing shade at her, Preston.
Are they?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Shady?
Yeah, they're throwing shade, but then they threw respect in there.
Yeah.
RESPICT.
That's right.
They're making fun of the hair flip?
Yes.
I would make fun of the mom dance instead. I mean, the hair
I've
flip is the
been
only
flipping
thing
my
that
hair
was
like
legit,
that since high school.
right?
Yeah.
I
It's like
it
a
all.
stupid, you're drunk, flip your hair.
I like Lindsay's thing, and I like the mock thing. I think it looks cute.
So anyhow, they did a thing about that thing.
Wow.
There was a thing.
It's just said the original thing has been followed by another thing.
This is what constitutes as news these days, folks.
Over the weekend, a thing occurred, which was immediately followed by two rejoinder thingies.
Pregnant Meghan Markle's sartorial choices.
Yes.
These are clothes?
Clothing, yes.
Okay, sartorial.
It's what she likes to eat at the food court.
Oh, okay. No. Frequently give fans a double take, generally for their stunning elegance. But some are wagging their fingers at the Duchess of Sussex for the skirt that she chose to wear on the final day of her royal tour of New Zealand, Fiji, and so on.
It was a full cooter shot.
Well,
it was up above her waist.
No, it wasn't. She paired a stunning royal blue Givenchy sweater with a sheer blue pleated skirt. So there was some see-through to it.
Well, you know what? She has.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, I see it. But she has had a higher than they usually like the skirts worn with members of the royal family, but nothing outlandish. Whenever she's out, but she still looks elegant.
You can see the shape of her panties.
Yeah. I mean, that's a little
Does
sheer.
it matter that there are sexy photos of her on the internet to the royal family, do you think? Because, when she did Suits and she did some modeling
There's a whole
stuff,
bunch of it.
Yeah.
And Nick, she had actually just done one prior to this whole
to meeting Prince
Yes, and it's excellent.
And the whole family received a portfolio of all of this stuff and said, "Here's what we're dealing with."
She's a beautiful woman.
If you need me, I'm going to be reviewing these photographs in my chamber.
How long is that going to take?
Wappa. Fwap.
That's it.
The fappening.
Wappa.
By the
That's
way,
the royal family version of fap.
why does this all have to rest on her shoulders? Like, why doesn't she have people looking at her going, "Yo, dude, I can see your panties"?
But she makes the final choice.
Yo, dude, I can see your panties.
By the way, Shake Shack,
Yep.
love their burgers, but I might as well eat them while I'm sitting on the toilet because that's how quickly they go through me.
Just for some particular reason?
Yeah.
There is
Do you get the special sauce?
Dude, so
He makes a special sauce.
I literally ate it one time, and I was driving home. I ate it by Helium. There's one right there.
Oh, no.
And I ate it.
Oh, no.
And I had to race. Oh my God! I'm trying to get home. I was trying to get home.
Yeah.
And it was late. It was probably like 10, 11 o'clock at night. I
can make it.
And by the time I got to about Route 1 on 76, I was like, there's no way I'm going to make it. So let me get to the radio station. Quick.
Oh.
Stat, right?
Yeah.
Got to the radio station. Couldn't make it to the fourth floor. I had to dump by outside next to the...
Dude, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Did you take a dump?
You crapped outside of the building?
I had to.
How long ago was this?
This morning.
God.
Kathy,
I
it was either that or in my pants. What do I do?
Sometimes I don't know.
Right? So I had to do it next to the...
Couldn't you at least pick a competing station?
Yeah. Well, no.
I mean, I'm also just so open to tell the story. It's amazing.
Oh, not right away. I had to wait a couple of years before the security footage was deleted. You know what I'm saying, Kath?
More FM's right over there.
Right. Q102 is right down the street.
Q102 is down the street. He crapped there.
Oh my God.
The story does get a little bit better.
That's funny.
How?
How could it?
Ow. But could you have imagined had he been stopped at another radio station simply because it was an emergency?
Yes.
Right.
Local broadcaster in a clear attempt.
Like a superintendent of a school.
Right, exactly.
Right?
He would have been raised to heroic levels here.
Now, how does the story get better?
Oh, man. I think I'm just going to end it there.
No. You started down the path.
Just say it quietly so we can't hear.
All right, I'll just whisper it.
They're not listening.
Yeah.
So I had to...
I smeared it on someone's car.
I had to leave it there in the grass.
Yeah.
I couldn't take it with me.
Right.
Oh, you didn't want to take it with you?
No. I couldn't. So what
You
ended
take
up...
your dog for a walk.
So...
I left it there.
All right, so a little bit did end up in my underpants. So I had...
That was just like a bingo.
So I had to put... Luckily, I had... Nobody can hear this, right?
Right, no, we're good.
So luckily, I had all these T-shirts in the back of my car.
Did you fashion a makeshift underwear?
I literally wore a pink T-shirt as underwear on the drive home. Oh, no. It gets better. Okay. So then I'm on my way home and I'm thinking, there is like T-shirts and poop and all this stuff next to the building. All right. So I can't, like, if security goes and they see that on Monday, they're going to go, well, who pooped here?
And look at security.
They're going to look at security and they're going to see me, like, all ashamed, crouching next to my car. So on Monday, I came back to work with a giant trash bag and I had to, like, collect it all.
Oh, my God.
And then throw it in the dumpster.
So he cleaned his spot.
Yeah, I cleaned my spot.
I hate you.
I hate me too, Kathy. When I got home,
And this was all because of what?
freaking Shake Shack.
Oh, Shake Shack.
No, not Five Guys. Don't you talk
They're
bad about-
fine.
Yeah, they're fine.
Where in the building was it?
On the over
By
at
the loading docks. Well, you unloaded.
Yeah, I had to go. What's that?
Why didn't you come inside?
He couldn't get in.
I couldn't make it. I couldn't make it.
Yeah.
I do, believe me. I'm
don't.
not. This is not a proud moment here, Kathy.
Yeah.
Though you would assume it could have been a proud moment.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad you came back. And that's noble.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't necessarily noble. It was self-preservation.
The last thing you wanted is that footage to end up. But what's worse, the footage of you doing it or the footage of you collecting it back up in the bag?
They watched both and they were like, okay, well, he came back and cleaned.
We'll erase this.
All right, so you should eat your hamburger upside down.
On the toilet.
That's what we got.
That's all. That's all I noticed. I didn't. There's
That's
it. I can't top that.
No, it ends there.
I will not be able
like
to.
a derailing train.
Right.
So nobody heard that, right?
Nobody heard that. People magazine is named its 2018 Sexiest Man Alive.
Yeah.
And it is Idris Elba.
Oh, Kathy?
The British actor says the honor has given him a boost of self-confidence.
What do you think? Do you are you an Idris Elba fan?
Pull up a picture.
Okay. You don't remember?
You don't know what he looks like?
No, I do, but like, let me just look at.
Let her drink him in.
I don't like. Is that the picture they use?
Let her take a sip of that chocolate.
Yeah,
milk.
that's from people.com.
I don't love the picture that they use. I wish they used a different picture, but yeah, no, he's good looking for sure.
He was surprised after being crowned this year's winner. I was like, come on, no way, really? He told the magazine.
You guys.
He said, look. Here, there's the cover picture.
Yeah, he's kind of like he's like Lovey.
Well, like Lovey from Gilligan's Island?
No, like not where you would look at some of them and be like, oh my God, he's so hot. Like this guy's like, he probably would give you a good hug.
Part of it is his voice and his demeanor. He is planning a wedding with his fiancee Sabrina Dahor. No.
Yeah, well, I don't
Sabrina
know.
Dahor?
Dower.
Dahore?
Dahore.
Oh, you mean Dahor?
Dahor. It's
93.3 WMMR.
So for Tattoos Day today, we've changed things up a little bit. No texting. Today we're changing this to a web-based contest. So if you go to WMMR.com, there's a contest page.
Nice.
And if you click on that contest page, you will find the link to get signed up to win a free Preston and Steve Show themed tattoo from Floating World Tattoo and Piercing. It's a $350 gift certificate. If you want to check out the artwork for Floating World, you can go to floatingworldtattoos.com or just go to Instagram and do @FloatingWorldTattoos. They're there at 1729 South Street. We'll give that away by the end of the program. Looks like a beautiful day out this morning.
Yes.
That is just one of the things that I've noticed today.
Oh, yeah. The noticer across an empty field, down a dark alley, in an abandoned mall or a modest studio apartment. He notices so you don't have to.
A modest studio
Trying to
apartment?
add some.
Okay. Thank you. I like that.
Yeah,
I like the modest, though. That was... All right.
You'd be there noticing, though.
I would be there noticing, most definitely. All right. So these are the worst home decor trends of the moment, according to interior designers.
Curious to see this because we are redoing our kitchen. Kathy, you obviously it's a more unique room. Kathy, you did yours. I asked you for some input as well. It's tough when you're putting together ideas for designs or decor.
I don't really have an eye for it. I've tried and I just don't see it. I watch these shows on HGTV and I'm
Do you
like,
like them?
how? Yeah,
I love
them. I'm like, how did you come up with those ideas? Especially when in the beginning when they show like a graphic of, okay, we're going to tear down this wall. And they start showing the graphics moving stuff around. I'm like,
I love that.
How'd you do that? I don't think that way.
No,
I'm a visual thinker. So when people start to tell me concepts, I'm like, you're going to have to write it down or draw it or something.
Just to jump in here quickly, Casey, to that point, nothing that we're doing with the kitchen can get underway until we get that, what they call that pre-viz, that please show me a rendering.
Yes.
So I can, and once we get that, you're like, oh, okay, and now we can start moving ahead.
I love that, all of that stuff. My only trepidation is to put something in that is trendy for the time that will date itself very, very quickly.
Oh, Case.
Do you know what I mean?
The whole kitchen, I was like, okay, I wanted lighter cabinets, but I'm like, light cabinets have been in style for a long time. Am I going to put the light cabinets in and everyone's going to be like, hey, we're going back to dark brown?
Right.
I was very worried about that. And I do have a good eye for this. I think that I do. But I still worked with a
designer.
An interior designer because, we talk about being given choices and things like that. Like there's so much out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so in working with her, she did a really good job of, and like that, going back to the white cabinets, I said to her, I don't want to get this and this to go out of style. Like, what's the next trend? And she's like, no. She's like, what do you like? What do you want? And
Yes.
I had a darker, more earthy home. And I said, I want it brighter. She goes, then you need to do the white cabinets. It doesn't matter. matter. And with me, I research everything. So like I'll find 100 different things. And she was like, no, here's 3 things or 5 things, choose from this. So even though I think I have a good eye for it, it was very helpful to have her.
You cannot go wrong if you talk to someone like, so we have Lauren Pierno, who has been helped design stuff in the house. And you need someone like, if you think, oh, that's an additional expense, you need someone like that because she says things that make total sense where sometimes having a ton of options is worse than having limited options. And so all of those things, but they get a feel for you and know what you want and can make you avoid worrying about what's the trendy thing or, and play to what you're going to want to live in.
You know what trend I love that I just don't know, and I don't want to pull the trigger on, are black windows. I love
you
the
mean
way
the glass is black?
No. The frame of the window is black, and
it's been out for a while, right? So are you worried it's going to go away?
Yeah, I'm going to put them in, and then hey, by the way,
do what you want.
It's for you. It's not for everybody else.
I know.
You know what I mean? If you like it, you like it.
Black out the frames, black out the windows, and then walk around in something that looks like a Navy outfit.
What color's your house, Case?
What do you like?
Like would it match with putting the black on their match?
No, down the shore it would, but up here it would not.
Down the shore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so the worst decor.
Yeah,
let's hear it. So we can avoid
trends of the moment. This is according to interior designers. Some once popular home decor trends now just make your space look outdated or impractical. These are the ones we should leave behind, according to the experts. But if you like it,
if you like it. So, for example, Preston, we are going with the spittoon in our kitchen.
Okay, why not? And you don't even shoot tobacco.
No.
So neon lights. It says these little signs and images were a favorite for adding a playful vibe to a room, but designers say that they can cheapen the overall aesthetic.
There's one in Xfinity Live in the Victory Beer Hall, and it just says cheese. And I want that.
Neon lights, it says, had their moment, but they've started feeling more like college dorm room decor than a nice design choice. Wall sconces and pendant lights are good alternatives for warm, layered lighting.
Oh, okay. I was going to say all wording, like you remember like the live, laugh, love sign that you'd hang up, or like, family is everything.
Yeah.
I think all that wording is going away.
I'm ready for those to go away too.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have a couple hang up. We just got our house painted, the interior, and that stuff's all off the walls now. So I'm rethinking. Yeah,
What goes back up?
Yeah, maybe
We have one in
else.
our living room that says "bang till it hurts." It just seems
it
cheap.
sounds
Yeah.
All right, how about this? It says staged shelfies.
Oh, like the open shelves on the wall?
It says those perfectly curated shelves with filled with things like turned around books, abstract sculptures, and untouched candles can end up looking more like a retail display than personal decor.
Yeah.
Interior designer Lori Kahana suggests that making shelves feel lived in with a mix of books you actually read, vintage pieces, and meaningful objects.
So you're redoing your room, right? You had your room repainted.
Yes.
Now are you redoing your
decor,
appointments, your books, it's a golf. It's supposed to represent a golf
locker room. Yeah, so I actually went and I cleaned out my books.
Okay.
I did clean out the bookshelves actually after reading this. But it made me realize I needed to do that anyway, and I've removed some of the knick-knacky stuff.
There's some things you should
Minimized a
have,
little
like 60 to 70 Batman statues.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, Rochelle got me this really cool thing for Christmas. It is like a push pin map. So for map tacks. And it's the United States greatest golf courses. It's a map of the U.S. and then you have these little tacks that look like little golf balls, and you put them on the courses that you've played.
So I got for Claire. My wife loves to travel, so we have the glow. It looks like Magellan might have had this map, except it's up to date of the world. And you have different colored pins indicate I want to go here. Different colored pins indicate I've been here. I love the thing. It looks pretty cool. I know some people might consider it cheap, but I think it's a nice conversation piece.
I think I have staged shelves. I'm going to show you guys because I think this maybe what they're talking about.
Maybe, but that doesn't look cluttery.
No, are those your duck
I know what you're
decoys?
saying.
Do you think there'd be clutter in my house, Preston? Come on, pal.
But maybe that's kind of what they're referring to.
Looks nice,
Kathy.
though.
It looks slightly outdated, just like
yeah. It does. It does.
Look a little outdated.
I wouldn't have that in my house.
I would.
It's very 2021.
I don't know if I would be displaying my chastity belt, but
But listen, there are books on there that I have read. They
Okay,
are
well,
my
that's good.
books.
I made
That's-
sure, yes,
Yeah.
that the books that I have on my bookshelves are ones I've actually read.
that's the Mad Lib series 1 through 50.
All right. Also, it says here macrame overload. Popular with boho chic aesthetic.
Boho.
These knotted textiles have become more of a filler than a thoughtful design choice, according to these designers.
They remind me of dream catchers. No, thank you. Get them the hell out of my house.
Okay. The overly distressed farmhouse look.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Says the artificially aged furniture and mass-produced rustic decor look has run its course.
I think when it's legitimately distressed and you have something that is, a piece that makes sense,
Old and worn.
Yeah, but there's a lot of it is artificial. Like something that's still popular is, and I guess I'm just focusing on kitchens but the farmhouse sink. You know that?
Oh yeah, I have one.
Yeah.
No, I think with this, he said it overly.
Overly.
The distressed farmhouse
right.
look is always going to be in style. But when you have everything, and I know I can picture it. Like I have things on my Pinterest that I used to like, and it's like the table. It's also the flooring. It's also the cabinets. It's also the decor on the wall. Like it's everything.
It shouldn't look like a scene from Dope Thief.
Also on this list it says barn doors.
Oh.
Designers argue that this
Barn
modern...
doors. I'm your interior decorator.
Oh, my God.
Barn doors.
Forgot about Bill.
We have 2 of those in our basement.
You do? Okay. It says here, designers argue that this modern farmhouse staple is actually impractical, noisy, and doesn't really offer much privacy.
We use it for the to divide because the TV room's in the basement, so it divides the TV room where the washer and dryer are.
Okay.
So I think that's fine.
Yeah, I like how it looks.
Yeah, that's not my style. You would not find that in my house, but I still think it looks nice. Like, maybe if it's impractical, okay, but I think they look great.
You know what's pretty amazing is the guy that installed it, the guy that did our basement, he's a really great guy. He's a listener of the show, but he built them in our driveway. So he just got out the sawhorse out, and I watched him build these barn doors, and I'm just like, man, that is just a skill that I will never never have.
I find
so
myself
impressive.
always looking, and when they're doing their work like that, and they're going to say, "What's it like to be a man?"
Yeah.
All right. Also, they suggest this an outdoor decor trend is hanging plants. Says a little greenery is always in style, but too many hanging plants isn't a good look. When the plants are overgrown, not well maintained, or randomly placed, it can give a jungle gone wrong vibe. So these pros recommend structural plants in statement planters as an alternative, so not the hanging ones.
Yeah, I've never been able to hang plants. I feel like I didn't have the right spot for it.
I've never done it.
The right noose.
But you guys know what it's almost time for.
Hanging brains?
No, the Lancaster flower trip.
Oh, yeah, you got to go up there and stock up.
I would
right?
like to see the employment of hanging brains in a house, though.
Yes, that's your nutsack, right?
Yeah, it's your nutsack, yeah.
It's your nutsack.
There you go.
That's your nutsack.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, she is.
All right, and then one last tip on here of home decor trends that are outdated. All white and gray everything. Kathy. Neutrals can create bright and airy spaces, but designers warn all white and gray can feel sterile and look like a hospital waiting room. Go for warmer tones to add depth and personality, like muted greens, browns, or Marlowe.
Preston, I'd like to point out on our new text platform, here's a text that speaks just to that. So
it says, just stop picking gray. Every remodel I do, gray, and gray. Yeah,
so-
white and gray.
So when I redid my kitchen, the designer that I worked with, she said we're going to stay away from grays, and that was big. And so because I still wanted to do the white, she brought in cream and like a very light gold, and she's like, that will modernize your white.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, this bitch has horrible taste.
No, but she was like, by the end, she
was
knew
good?
She knew me. Like I would be like, well, what about this? And she'd go, nope. I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
there you go.
all right,
Good.
then.
But you need that, right? That helps.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
All right, so take it for what it's worth. These are decor trends of the moment that are that designers think are outdated. All right, I noticed another thing, and it's local.
Noticer keeps noticing.
The portal in Philadelphia's Love Park will be moved after just 5 months at that location. It's been the target of vandalism and on two occasions, but that's not the only reason. According to Joe Callahan, director of the Portals Project, he said, we wanted to be able to set up in the appropriate environment that has enough space for people to come and celebrate, for people to collaborate with the other countries, and not have to worry about moving it around. And he said that they have had to move the portal for the Christmas Village, and they don't want to have to do it again in 2025. It's also been vandalized a few times at the current location.
The last time it was attempt on copper, right?
Yeah, it says they cut wires to the portal, which connects the city to other parts of the world via video link, and police believe the group wanted the wires because they contain copper.
Go ahead.
Recently, it was discovered that someone smashed the screen as well, and it appears, according to Callahan, that engineering has gone through it, and it was a rock. Somebody threw a rock at it.
We had such a blast interacting with it and seeing people around the world, and it's predicated on such a cool thing, what should be a nice reaching out to people and interacting and having that. Why would you vandalize something?
Oh, by
like
the
that?
way, the company confirmed that they haven't had any issues in the other countries or locations of the portals, just Philadelphia.
Just Philadelphia.
Yeah, or they stole the copper and.
But they plan to keep it
ruined
here
the fun.
long term. One of the locations they're considering is indoors. However, they declined to identify exactly where it could end up. There are 3 different ones they're considering, and that will be revealed in the next week to week and a half.
Where would you put it?
Risque Bristol.
I was thinking,
Bristol.
with
really
baseball
need to see what
season
we're
coming,
about.
I thought maybe outside the ballpark because you have a lot of people coming out there.
I think where you might be in proximity to reliable security that could at least serve as a deterrent for people effing with it.
The ballpark, I don't think would be people consistently enough, though, Case.
What about art museum?
Well, art museum, somewhere around in and around that area.
Yeah.
Maybe Independence Mall.
How about out in
There's
front
always
of an
people around
ED
there.
clinic?
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
Could fire that up.
Huh.
So I don't know.
I'm having problem with boners.
We'll find out soon. All right, that's not the only thing I noticed. I did notice this via Marissa. She sent me this story. Earlier this week, Hasbro announced its newest version of Monopoly, but there's a big change in it. So the role of the banker is gone.
Oh.
In his place is Monopoly app banking, a concept designed to speed up play and make the game more enjoyable.
Impossible.
When it lands in stores this August for $25, smartphones will serve as the bankers, and each player will manage their money using the accompanying free mobile app. And players must each have their own phone in order to play.
So, when was the last time you all played Monopoly?
Been a long time.
Yeah, you know my stand on it.
Yeah, we know you hate it. But we used to play with the kids all the time. In fact, there was a version of it that we played that was, and it mentions this in the article, that didn't use cash either. It was the Monopoly Super Electronic Banking board game.
Huh.
And we used that, and there was like, you got credit cards instead of using cash.
Oh.
So that was years ago. That was well over 10 years ago.
We had the cheaters version because everybody always cheated in Monopoly, so they made a version where cheating was part of the game.
Oh, that's interesting.
And if you got caught, there was different things that you had to do.
I like that.
Yeah.
That makes it fun. So with the new version, you start by downloading the mobile banking app, which handles all the transactions with money and properties for you. You just select a token and a matching bank card and scan it in the mobile app. With purchases and rent now automated, it may be an effort to appeal to younger players who also find the updated board more relatable. And also, this one I really don't care for. They've gotten rid of Boardwalk and Park Place.
Those are foundational parts of the game.
Yeah, so
and I hate it, and I know that.
They are now going to be Rocket, Launchpad, and Moon.
No.
But just on this special version?
Yeah, just on the special version.
right.
Okay.
So that's still dumb.
Yeah, I mean, there's
all the other places is going to be Ventnor Avenue and St. James Place and Launchpad and Moon.
Yeah, because you can play like special versions of it, like the Star Wars version or the Pennsylvania, and they change the names up of the properties and those types of things.
I remember my nephew one time when they were trying to get, and I wanted to, he was a young kid, I wanted to make him happy. He came over, we were going to play Simpsons Monopoly. I'm like, oh, I'm a massive Simpsons fan. After about 5 minutes, I wanted to put a bullet in my head.
I mean, it's the same game.
Yeah.
With just different, and the chance cards and community chest are a little bit more fun for special games like that.
What is head and shoulders above all other board games when you are going to pull out a board game where this is my favorite game? What do you pull out?
Oh, with the family?
Yep.
Oh, Catan.
Catan is Catan's still ruling.
That game's
Dominoes.
a blast.
Yeah, does that count? Because we play Mexican Train.
I mean, I don't know if I call that a board game or not. because there's no board? You know what I mean?
Well, you kind of
yes, there
create
is.
the board,
Yeah.
but you have multiple people that can play.
But the one that we play the most is a game called Rummy Cube.
Rummy Cube,
We
yeah.
played that for ages. It's
been around,
it's a riff on the Rummy card game. You do sets and runs, and it's real easy, and you can knock out a game in like 10 or 15 minutes, so you can play multiple games.
Right.
And that's the one that we go to the most. But if we're going to play what I call a classic board game with the actual board and icons and pieces and things like that, it's Catan.
What do you
We
think
love
causes
that
more
game.
arguments, Catan or Monopoly, in your household?
Wow.
Because they both got heated in our household.
Yeah, probably Catan. We get pissed off at each other when we play that.
Yeah, you
in
can-
a good way.
You can really strategize against other players, or you can take people down. It's I love it. It's a fantastic game. I love both of them,
One of the
Monopoly and Catan.
Nick, one of the things about Catan, though, is when you're playing, if all the spaces are taken up, one person gets hosed royally.
Yeah, that's
And
me.
at some point in the game, and there's still like 30, 40 minutes left of the game, like, I'm not going to win. And I got to sit here and take this up the butt. You know, I mean,
Is that how it's referred to in the game?
Yeah.
Butt
Yeah,
boy.
when you know that you're going to lose, and there's nothing you can do. I mean, that happens in dominoes as well when we play Mexican Train. Press, we played this game when I was in Italy. Family taught it to a bunch of us. It's called Fam Tam. And
You were
play with-
telling me about
Yeah,
it.
you play with multiple decks of cards, and just think of it. It's kind of like solitaire, but when you play with other people.
Okay.
You know, and so we had, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, we had like 10, 12 of us playing. And the more people that are playing, then you add another deck of cards or whatever. But it was a lot of fun.
Okay. I definitely want to check the rules out on that one. So anyhow, there's a new Monopoly if you are interested, and no banker in this particular one.
What else has the noticer noticed?
The noticer has noticed this story. An Indian dog breeder recently paid $5.8 million for a unique crossbreed between a real wolf and a Caucasian shepherd, making it the most expensive canine in the world.
$5.8 million.
The dog's name is Catabom Okami. That's the name that they've given this dog. Catabom.
But they call him Fido.
Okami. And the pricey canine was reportedly bred in the U.S. and purchased by someone named S. Satish, a Bangalore-based dog enthusiast and the president of the Indian Dog Breeders Association.
So the idea, can we assume, or may we assume, that that money that's spent is because they can then move forward and breed this dog?
Not just breeding, but even showing it. So he is renowned for his collection of over 150 dog breeds, including some of the rarest in the world. Satish told Indian reporters that he felt the price tag was worth it for Catabom Okami because he is literally one of a kind. Plus, he is an impressive specimen at just 8 months old. He already weighs 75 kilograms and stands 30 inches tall.
Not even really that cute.
Satish
He's not.
said he is an extremely rare breed of dog and looks exactly like a wolf.
I don't think it's much.
This breed has not been sold in the world before. He said, I spend money on these dogs because they are rare. Besides, I get enough money because people are always curious to see them. They take selfies and pictures. My dog and I get more attention than an actor at a movie screening, and we both are crowd pullers. Interestingly, this is not the dog breeder's first extravagant purchase. Last year, he bought a rare Chow Chow specimen that allegedly bears a striking resemblance to a red panda, and he bought that one for $3.25 million.
So I wonder if he's like connected to these animals, like on a regular dog, dog owner relationship, or if it's just a business thing for him.
He keeps his over 150 dogs on his estate and showcases the rarest of them at events all around India, for which he gets paid between $3,000 and $12,000.
So when your parents say that they've sent the dog to a farm, this is where they're going?
Yeah, they're going to this place. He's already started using Okami to win back his investment, showcasing him at several high-profile events, including film premieres. And he claims that people flock to see the world's most expensive dog even more than they usually do his other dogs as well. So
you couldn't walk this dog around and worth $5.8 million. You'd have to have some sort of security, right? You can't walk a dog like this out in the
there are people
public.
who steal dogs.
They steal dogs.
So,
a
yeah.
$5.8 million dog, they're more likely to spend. And then what do you do, Kathy? Is it like a Coach bag that you use as a doggy? That's for the poop. What do you do?
I don't know.
I mean-
and what happens when he runs out into the street? and
Right,
the car
gets
hits him?
hit by a garbage truck.
Yeah, that's a little more impactful, I think. All right. I noticed, I think we got time for one more thing to notice before we have to take a break. Yeah, I wanted to get your opinion on this. So apparently an old-fashioned trend is making a comeback thanks to Gen Z women. Man repeller outfits are back in a big way on social media and in fashion culture. Now, what are those? You may not know. Man repeller outfits are basically put together to avoid unwanted male attention and feature items not considered traditionally attractive to the fellas. I've never heard of this before.
I mean, if a woman wants to go out and dowdies down a little bit, I mean, I think this is kind of an age. Yeah, this I haven't heard of. We're looking at what is a version of this on the runway.
Yeah, I don't think it's well.
It says the term isn't new. It was first coined by Laura Mulvey in 1975, and the young women of today are putting their own spin on it. Man repeller outfits often include baggy silhouettes, long skirts, and things like big, bulky glasses.
Yeah, so like it's not like looking, like you're haggard, like it's
Right.
It's just a different type of fashion that men won't find attractive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they're doing
you'll
it.
still look put together.
And they're doing it purposely.
Yeah.
Well, what we're looking at here looks. This is not what I would call, just in general, even a good fashion choice.
What we're looking at is a woman who's wearing almost like a rain hat. She's wearing a long trench coat and kind of just a summery dress that goes all the way up to the top of her neck. And she's wearing sneakers and long stockings.
Nothing's form-fitting.
Nothing's form-fitting.
Would you consider that a
It's
nice-looking
bulky.
outfit?
I mean, I feel like the jacket over it, if she took it off, you'd see a little bit more of it.
Yeah.
It's not something I would choose, but it's not terrible. That's why she still looks like she's put together. It's just not a sexy
I
outfit.
see, but it's man repellent.
So a recent Instagram from Style Analytics used data analysis to dredge through the comment sections on Reddit threads about clothing items that men hate to find the most mentioned items. And those include, like I said, oversized glasses.
That's like number one.
It is.
Yeah.
Kath, yeah. Pointy-toed shoes.
Oh, funny.
High-waisted trousers or jeans, and baggy clothing. The large glasses are goofy looking, I think. So we're watching Yellow Jackets. Kathy, the character Misty, wears those really huge glasses, and they just are as backwards as far as flattering goes.
Yeah, and they're trending again.
Are they?
Like you'll start to see them all over again this
We're
summer.
looking at some of the things here on the screen. One of them mentioned, Kathy, is loose-fitting Beatles shirts.
Loose-fitting Beatles shirts. Where do you see that?
On me, I'm wearing it today.
I can't see you over here. So designers are helping to push the revival of the man repeller trend with popular brands like Prada and Miu Miu featuring those looks on the runway. And when men make it clear online which women's clothes they don't like, women following the trend embrace wearing them even more. An Instagram reel from Daphne Blunt has been viewed more than 2.2 million times as a perfect example in it. She shows off her lacy corset dress and tiara, and the text overlay reads, "Today a man said he didn't like my outfit, which means it must be a really incredibly cute outfit."
I think if you dress like Kate McKinnon in the Barbie movie, I think you'll do just.
Oh yeah. She's the what was she?
Effed up Barbie.
Effed up Barbie.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, a lot of times, so with outfits, if it's like, a newer trend that's, going to come around, you're going to start to see it. Like if somebody comments, like if one of you say something to me about what I'm wearing, I'm like, okay, well, I'm good because they just don't know about it yet. And they'll start to see it and they'll be like, hey, remember when Kathy wore, whatever it is.
How do you deal with us, Kathy?
Wait, explain that again?
Like if you make a comment on something
you're wearing.
I'm wearing. Not just like, oh, hey, you're wearing a Beatles shirt, but it's like a newer trend, which has happened in the past. Like, I sort of know, I'm like, okay, I'm like ahead of the game because they just haven't seen it in mainstream.
She knows we're very dialed into the fashion world.
Yeah.
Well, you haven't seen it yet. Like, it hasn't come to like Target where everybody's wearing it. And you'll see people walking down the street. Your kids will be wearing it and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So the Hayes haven't seen it yet.
I don't take offense to it. I just take they don't know about it yet.
Okay.
I don't think we mean anything as offense. But
No, like Casey will sometimes make it, like a Mrs. Roper comment or something like that. And I'm like, all right, well, he just hasn't seen the floral long dresses yet.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, well, we got to wrap that right there, gang. That's all I've noticed.
Noticer notices.
Ain't noticing no more.
Ain't noticing no more. Heard it from the man himself.
Yep. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We do have some guests who are going to be joining us in the 8 o'clock hour. We have writer and producer of Audrey's Children, a movie that takes place in Philadelphia about the creator of the Ronald McDonald House and a pioneering oncologist.
Yes, for children.
Really cool looking story, and she has written and produced it. She'll be in our studio. Colin Mochrie will be joining us as well. We have a concert announcement, B-File stories coming up next. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
Who are you marrying? Sabrina. Oh, Dahore?
Dhowre.
No,
And at
not,
first,
no, not Dahore.
if you move the W to the beginning or in between the D and H, it looks like Dahore.
No, it's Dahore.
Dahore? Dahore.
No.
Anyhow, the actor has
I'm not marrying a whore.
16-year-old daughter named Isan and a 4-year-old son named Winston. What a great name.
Yeah, I almost
like
named my
that.
dog Winston.
From previous
Let him know.
relationships. Elba told people about his upbringing.
Yes, Idris. My name is Casey. I produce a show in the States. I almost named my dog Winston.
When you said let him know, I thought you were talking about let my dog know.
I did too. Come here, buddy.
Come here.
You're almost
Listen,
Winston.
Reggie, I almost named
Dog, I don't understand what you're saying.
We began Wigapalooza.
I'm very excited.
If you just tuned in, we talked about this a while back. What would Steve look like with a head of realistic human hair and not goofy looking wigs? Actual hair. We want to see what Steve would look like with a realistic looking hairstyle.
These wigs are usually fitted to people's heads, so Steve's got a bigger head. I actually thought his head was a little bit smaller than that.
Should we bring him in?
Yes.
All right, let's have Steve come in and see what the actual. Wow! Dude, oh my God!
You haven't seen it?
Kathy's got to have a mirror.
Get the big mirror from the office.
Steve, you look better bald, man.
Casey, that does look good. You fixed the sides.
Yeah.
Do you know whose hair I immediately think of for some reason? Because
Oh, Jesus Christ.
he looks like Danny Briere's hair for some reason.
Wow,
Am I not wrong about that?
That's
Danny
absolutely right.
Briere,
Dude,
formerly of the Flyers.
No,
What? Who are you thinking
a
of?
bachelor-
Here, move your microphone over, Steve. So I can.
from bachelor party and
Adrian
Zemed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, how
It's
come
the
no
profile
sideburn?
that I love.
I guess you have to. Well, I look like a '60s pop star. Hey, everybody.
Yeah. All right. Anyhow.
This is one that's for the ladies.
Yeah.
It's what you call a panty dropper in the biz.
Yeah, Steve. We need a voice with that
That's right,
wig.
yeah.
What is that? The voice?
I need
you
it.
think,
Yeah,
or-
I think that's kind of the name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
or kind of the voice.
The back looks good too, like
Does
the
the back look
neckline.
good?
Yeah, the neckline.
Yeah. The back looks real.
Am I making you wet, baby?
Looks totally real. Somebody says you look like Paul McCartney. Yeah.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody says Phil Mickelson or Ralph Macchio.
Well, a little Ralph Macchio.
A little bit.
The Karate Kid on Hard Times.
And by the way, you'll need.
Hey, Mr. Miyagi, how are you?
You'll need.
What the hell happened?
There you go. Yes, Steve's doing the dance moves. And we'll put.
I could walk you home.
Makes me feel fine. Oh, Steve. The hair. Oh my God.
Summer breeze.
Nice.
Makes me feel fine.
Oh, you've got to watch the webcam. Steve is singing directly to you.
I thought that was beautiful, actually. I have to go pleasure myself.
Hi,
I'm
Bri-
so turned on.
All right, well, let's bring him in and see what we have next. Let's have Steve. He's been out of the studio when he gets. Okay. The color is better on this.
Yes.
I think
actually like.
I like the dark.
Hey, I'll help.
You look like a stock boy a little
Right,
bit.
yeah. I'll get that for you, Mr. Jones. What do you want me to do with the canoe?
Just put it in the back. Put it in the back.
I'll move that around for you, Mr. Jones. Hey, can I take lunch now?
Every wig has to have a voice.
Right, yeah. Hey, how you doing?
Wow.
My name's Toby. This is a Toby, right?
Yeah, that's a Toby.
Yeah.
Toby.
Is that what it's called?
Toby.
Is that what it's called? Seriously?
No. It's a Toby. I
don't know. Yeah.
It intermatches with the Kunta Kinte.
Well, what was the last one? What should that have been? That was the Danny?
The Danny or the Ricky.
The Ricky.
I like the Ricky.
That was Ricky. With a song for you.
No, it's
Toby.
Toby. Hey,
Yeah.
Toby.
Hey, you need any yard work? You need help? Don, I'll do it. I'm 17.
Should we do a new wig next?
Yes, dude.
Yeah, we only have
Dr. Wig.
We only have 2 more left. Let's bring him in. Let's see Steve's third wig of the morning. Wow, man.
It is the best one.
Yeah. Steve, and that's
Got a little
real
bit of
hair.
gray.
What's that?
A little bit of gray.
Just a little salt and pepper in there.
Yeah.
That looks good.
I think he looks like
I
either
think I'm ready for the boardroom and the bedroom.
I think Richard Gere, maybe.
She said she gave me 3 options: Richard Gere, Regis Philbin, and Eddie Munster.
What?
With the 3 hairstyles.
Well, the one style we had going at first, he looked a little like Eddie Munster.
It's all sewn
Do I
in.
look like in the Cialis commercial? I say the man with the plan.
Yeah, you do look like the man with the plan.
Yeah, putting some more wind in my sails with Cialis.
Oh, is this the voice?
Yeah.
What-
Hey,
what's-
kids, we're gonna go mountain climbing and rappelling.
What's a
and
good-
I can get aroused too.
What's a good name for this hair?
gotta be- it's
first
gotta
thing
be a
that comes to your
doctor.
mind.
Chet.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Chet Wainwright.
All right.
Dr. Chet Wainwright?
Dr. Chet Wainwright.
PhD.
Yeah.
What are you, a doctor?
Not DDS?
Of course. It
The
would be
ladies
anything
are
else.
stacked too deep
All
out
right,
there.
now put the headphones on, and
Yeah.
we'll see if this because
Radio chat.
Steve doesn't have sideburns.
I have
and
no
so that's the
sideburns,
one thing
no
that looks a little
eyebrows.
odd.
What happened was that they extracted me from the pod in the Matrix too quickly,
Yeah.
and I hadn't fully formed.
I like this the
Put your
best.
headphones on.
All right.
Let's see how this looks.
I have hair over my ears, which is weird.
That looks real,
Let me
Steve.
see. Look at me. Can you look at me?
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Wow.
No, it's
Yeah.
not. Wait,
Doctor?
call. Say hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Oh, wait, no. Sorry, you got to do it. Dr. Chet Wainwright.
Hey, Chet. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
All right, do it again.
One more time, ready?
Hey, Dr. Wainwright.
Can I help you, ladies?
Oh my God.
I think we got a yeast situation.
Casey wanted me to play this music. All right, so
It's an African American wig.
oh, are you serious?
Yeah. It's real hair.
Yeah.
It's real hair. I mean, it's just like a $1,500 wig, and this particular wig is going to a politician.
All right, somebody who's running for office.
So it's a short crop.
Okay.
You know, it's a short crop.
All right.
Yeah, just take a look. See.
All right, Superfly, come on in. Let's take a look and see. Yeah. Yes. Oh, dude, Steve. Oh,
Out
my-
of sight.
Yeah. That looks real.
It looks pretty
That
real.
looks
I think this looks the
real.
realest. Apparently, I would be a really good black dude.
It's a tight curl.
You know what this reminds me of, though? And see if this frames you a little bit. Like Mr. Brady.
a little bit.
A little Mr. Brady in the latter part of the series.
Okay.
Sort of what they would call an Isro.
Yeah. No, you know what it looks like? It looks like my friend Nolan, who's Jewish.
Now, Peter, Bobby, someone broke that vase.
All right. So, other than the Brady affectation, what kind of can you need to look at yourself in the mirror?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a look and see what name, what voice, what your style is going to be.
Wesley Python. You like that?
Yes.
I love the name Wesley Python.
My name is Wesley.
Yeah.
Wesley Python.
So, are you kind of? Oh, then they're kind of like a Billy D.
I'm like a Billy D.
Okay.
I'm like a malt liquor drinking.
All right.
Wannabe.
Yeah. Smooth.
Wesley Python. Smooth.
Yeah.
I go down like my ladies.
Hang on, I want to try something else. Yo, Wesley.
Is that good?
No, he's Isaac from the Love Boat.
I'll do it again.
Yeah. Yo, Wesley.
Fell over.
With the headphones on.
Yeah, there we go.
I love
even
it.
better.
Oh, that looks good.
Hey, all you boppers out there.
Oh, that's beautiful.
All right.
Wigapalooza on the Preston Steve Show.
From Funkadelic. Wesley Python with you. Let's get the funk on.
Hey, Wesley, do you have a
Hey,
favorite?
if you want to hear the song, send me a fax.
Do you have a favorite
that'd
so
be
far?
a self-addressed stamped envelope, probably.
Send a self-addressed stamped envelope, and I'll try to get it on for you in 3 weeks when it arrives.
Do you have a favorite so far?
Was that, little man?
Do you have a favorite wig so far?
Let me see. I'm kind of like, for the one that looks the most real, this one.
Yeah, right.
And the last one. They're both the ones made with human hair. The synthetics, I don't know, man. I'm not feeling it.
I'm thinking the Chet was my favorite.
Chet,
The Chet was good.
I'm the man with the plan.
The last birthday I saw is an actor named Adam Devine. And
Yes.
he was in Pitch Perfect. So,
Yeah.
Casey, I'm sure you got something queued up. Is him singing?
No, this is actually Ben Platt singing. He took over for Adam Devine because Adam left the band to go be a backup singer for John Mayer, if you recall, in that particular movie.
Okay, so this is the end of the movie, and they do that song Magic. Yeah. You love this version of it.
Oh, my
so
God,
that's
dude.
why
I
we're
get
playing
so
it.
welled up.
Do it. Play it. I want to see you cry. He went on. He also had a role on Modern Family for a while.
Correct.
Okay.
I like him. He's good.
He's very funny.
Good, cool, comedic actor. He was also in a movie that I like a lot, The Intern.
Yep.
And he was in Why Him. He's been in a whole bunch of stuff. So here we go.
All of it, man. Like, it just builds to a crescendo, and these guys, and then the Barton Bellas, and I just get so happy.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
There's also a scene in Madagascar 3.
Oh, my God.
Where I think it's the hippo.
That's when the series hits its stride.
Oh, my God. When the hippo comes out and like, because they're working towards this big show, this big circus, and then the hippo comes out and Firework is playing from Katy Perry, and I got so happy that I started crying.
Listen, it's very impactful. I think even Gene Simmons got a little teary-eyed. when
That hippo makes the appearance in Madagascar 3. You need to understand it's the culmination of everything. This very large creature you would not think would be so adroit on the stage wows everyone, including a group of meerkats.
Even kind of, stone-hearted Gene Simmons crumbled to that.
Melted this icy heart. My face, I was smiling so hard, my surgically reattached face slid off my skull.
Oh my
There's another crescendo.
There's an incredible scene where a platypus sings, "I was made for loving you."
What were you going to say?
I can't well, I just know it's at the end of the new Muppets movie that has Jason Segel in it. Right. Because they're doing this like telethon to save this theater. Something is it the chickens? I don't know.
Happening?
Of course, the famous chicken scene.
I get so happy. Yes, they're doing the Gnarls Barkley song.
Oh,
it's FU.
Yes.
Okay. When they do that again, I'm so happy that I start crying. I don't know why.
It's just the way
I cry out of happiness sometimes. Back to you, Preston.
From this made you cry? That one did?
I don't know. Maybe I was
Do you want to bawl like a little girl?
Yeah.
You want to see a chipmunk sing Gnarls Barkley? Now that's incredible.
It's just a crescendo, and when it gets to that part, I don't know why I'm.
You
so
like
happy.
those? You like
I
those?
Love it.
Tug at the heartstrings.
All right. Well, how about at the end of Coco, where he's singing the song to the grandmother, Coco? That one puts me in absolute tears. Now, it's a little different than a chicken singing Gnarls.
You gotta understand, it's a crescendo that builds to that, right? Okay. It's there's a whole like sequence, and then it gets.
A couple things real quick before we get to the B-File. Steve wants to mention an event coming up.
That's right, Preston. This Friday, I'll be wearing a tuxedo to host the 20th annual Furball Gala, which is amazing. They're going back to the Simeon Foundation Automotive Museum, which is freaking awesome if you've never been there. It is a huge museum full of the most exotic, bizarre cars that you've never seen, like concept. It's just amazing. If you were even remotely a slight bit a car lover, you've got to come to this. Of course, it benefits the Morris Animal Refuge. We're talking adorable kittens and puppies, and DJ Perry will be there. Great food, cocktail, happy hour. The event is sort of posh, but it's with a tongue-in-cheek approach. What it does, though, is it benefits the Morris Animal Refuge, which is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, animal refuge in the country, do their great work rescuing homeless and abandoned animals and unwanted pets in the Philadelphia area. I'll be there. A lot of people you know will be there. So you can get your tickets at morrisanimalrefuge.org. That's this Friday evening.
Do we have that info on PrestonandSteve.com?
Yeah, I believe we do. I'll send it along just in case, though.
Very, very good. Real quick, 2 quick shout outs. I got this. Hey, Preston and Steve, you guys rock. I'm wondering from my older brother, AJ Andrioli. Happy birthday. Can you give him a shout out? It's his 55th. Lives in Washington Township, New Jersey with his wife, April. And that is from Brian Andrioli. So there's your shout out, buddy. And then one more. It says, hey, guys, if you get a chance this week, I'd like to give a juicy shout out to my daughter, Ava Lane, because she's turning the awesome age of 21 on Tuesday, the 25th. Longtime listener, listening via the app and podcast because she is up at the University of Pittsburgh in their pharmacy program. And we are so proud of her and all she's accomplished. Gadzooks, and never surrender, Corey Hart.
Never surrender.
That is from Phil Patelmo, also known as Philly Phil. So there's the shout out for your daughter, and congratulations on everything. All right, B-File Stories, here we go.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by the Bagster. You can buy yours now at any home improvement store, just $29.99. You fill it up, they pick it up on your schedule. The Bagster, dumpster in a bag, buy, fill, gone. This first story is why the Bizarre File was created. Clips and photos of a couple walking into the emergency room of a hospital in China have been doing the rounds on Chinese social media. Now, the premise doesn't sound very intriguing, but what really attracted people's attention was that the woman had her hand in the man's mouth. And apparently they had tried to shoot a funny video to post online in which they tried to see if the woman's hand was small enough to fit into her boyfriend's mouth. She stuffed her fist into his mouth just fine, but when she tried to pull it out, his muscles stiffened and the hand became stuck. After repeatedly trying to pull out her hand from the man's mouth, the young woman decided they needed medical attention. The footage is hilarious.
So some type of lockjaw occurred, and wow, that is, the pictures are hilarious.
And probably the more she pulled, the worse it got.
The worse it got.
Exactly. Doctors believe
it's actually like a Chinese finger.
Finger trap, yeah.
Yeah.
Doctors were obviously baffled by the couple until they heard their story. The woman said that her boyfriend's face gradually turned red, and all her efforts to yank her hand free from his mouth were useless. He drooled continuously because he couldn't close his mouth, and his throat made a gurgling sound. And to make matters worse, his teeth clamped down on her wrist because of his contracted muscles.
So he's fighting her.
She said, saliva ran down my wrist to my elbow. It felt like my hand was stuck in a meat grinder. The doctor, Zhang Mingguan, who handled the case, said the girl's hand got stuck because her boyfriend's jaw muscles had contracted, preventing him from opening his mouth. This created a dangerous cycle. The more pain, the tighter he clenched his jaw. To solve the problem, hospital staff first tried to calm the patients and prevent the man from choking or vomiting by playing soothing music.
To cause the everything to relax. Wow.
And then used a special mouth opener to expand his jaw enough to inject a muscle relaxant in a specific area.
What would you, yes, okay, yeah, that the muscle relaxant would have to be part of it. And when we're looking at her wrist and she seems to have a very sort of dainty wrist and hand, but I mean, he's clamped on tightly.
After about 20 minutes, the doctor gently rotated the girl's wrist, taking advantage of the sliding properties of the jaw joint to finally unjam it. He later presented the case as a cautionary tale, warning people that forcing a person's jaw open can cause nerve damage or the dislocation of the jaw, and you should not jam your fist into someone's mouth as well.
Well, they got the content that they wanted, right? They got the video that they were looking for.
It's fantastic. Airline operations are complicated, and there are all kinds of reasons that flights potentially need to divert. However, this is to be among the most embarrassing reasons. The incident started on Saturday and involves United Airlines Flight 198 scheduled to operate from L.A. to Shanghai. The 6,485-mile flight was scheduled to depart at 1:45 p.m. and arrive the following day at 6:35. And after a 13 to 14-hour journey is what that would be. Unfortunately, it's not quite how it played out. For an hour and 45 minutes, the jet flew westbound over the Pacific Ocean. However, at some point during the portion of the flight, one of the 4 pilots reportedly realized they didn't have their passport with them.
Oh, my God.
And as a result, the decision was made to divert. Specifically, the plane made a U-turn, then flew to San Francisco, which was a bit closer and is even a bigger hub for United. The aircraft touched down there 2 hours and 53 minutes after it first departed from L.A. Passengers reportedly given a $15 meal voucher.
That won't cut it.
While the airline worked to find a new crew. The plane ended up departing once again for Shanghai at 9:01 p.m. and it's scheduled to arrive yesterday at 10:49, a little over 6 hours behind schedule.
I'm surprised there's not some sort of accommodation they could make for that, you know?
Interestingly, the exact same flight was delayed by around 3 hours under departure the day prior. Some users claim the delay was for exactly the same reason, because one of the pilots forgot their passport. Whether that's true or not, I'm not really sure. A Texas couple who met with the parents of a teenage girl dating their son were arrested after the conversation allegedly took a violent turn. Luther Madison and Angelica Madison were both charged with aggravated assault following the incident that happened the day before they met. So the couple, or the day before they were arrested, the couple were meeting up with the 2 other parents who wanted to discuss a romantic relationship between both couples' respective children. Police said the Madison's teenage son was dating the teenage daughter of the other couple, who were not named, but one of those 4 parents allegedly had a gun on them. And according to the constable, the 2 couples were meeting to ask the Madisons for help in keeping their son away from their daughter, as she is too young to be dating. Although specific details were given about the reported escalation, the conversation became heated and turned into a verbal and physical altercation out on the streets of the Madison's neighborhood. Police said that Angelica allegedly brought the gun to the meeting and kept it in her pocket. At some point, police said she gave the gun to Luther, who then shot the husband in the chest.
Jesus.
And then pointed the gun to the wife as he threatened to shoot her, too. When deputies arrived at the scene, police said that they found the husband with a gunshot wound to the chest. He was airlifted to the hospital. His condition has not been made public. They were both arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Did it indicate what the age? So the one was.
It does not.
Yeah. I'm curious.
I don't know. She may be the same age as the kid, but maybe they don't want
her dating.
Her teenage daughter dating anybody.
So the best way to make that point is to shoot the other guy in the chest.
Well, they've shot. Yeah. The parents of the son shot the kids of the daughter. Wow. Or the parents of the daughter. All right, one last story. You're not yourself when you're deceased. A British man known for his sense of humor named Paul Broom, who worked as a care assistant at a home for adults with learning disabilities, had joked for years that he wanted to be buried in a Snickers-themed coffin.
That's pretty cool.
Everyone laughed at what they thought was a joke, but Broom was not kidding. He included it in his will. His coffin was made to look like a Snickers candy bar wrapper, but instead of the name of the candy, the logo said, "I'm nuts." The coffin also included the logo of Crystal Palace FC, the soccer club that he had supported his entire life. So he got his final wish.
My plan wasn't to be cremated. I might do something creative like this.
And that is what I have in the bizarre file for you this morning. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to get our first guest of the morning stopping in just a sec. So make sure you stay with us. We'll be back momentarily.
To the chicken singing.
Okay, I'm sorry. We have it on the video screen. Now that I see it, yes, wow, what a tearful moment.
Those incredibly talented chickens.
Well, the holiday season begins in earnest when Oprah Winfrey's annual list of favorite things arrives, showing America all of the wonderful things we probably can't afford this season.
Do you remember how huge this used to be when she would have that episode?
Yeah. And by the way,
in fact, our favorite things when we first did the Christmas Miracle, that's what it was based on.
Yeah.
The original name was Things That Make Us Explode in Our Pants.
That's correct. By the way, Kathy's holiday activities list will be coming sometime soon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much ready. Marissa and I were talking about yesterday.
We're waiting on some musical accompaniment for that, so it's on the way.
Strange
My God, that was sexy the way she said that.
Ew, really? Don't ever say that.
But you went, yeah.
That's how I feel about holiday
I know.
activities.
That's what turns you
She
on.
bites her lower
sex,
lip
no,
like
thank you.
like Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
Activities.
So
Floral and Hardy.
and she followed that up with, "Ew, don't ever say that."
Because it came from you. That's
I know.
weird.
I know. And on Wednesday,
I know.
Oh my God, I'm so moist. Winter activities. This year including Hanukkah and Ramadan.
All right, so, and on Wednesday, even the 64-year-old admits that the list has gotten a wee bit out of hand in recent years. She said, these days, choosing my favorite things makes me a little cuckoo. What started as an organic extension of wanting to treat people to some of the things I truly love has turned into an annual list that takes a team to curate. I then go through every item, picking my favorites and narrowing the selection to my own. It's a process, but because it's important to me to remain as true to my original inspiration as possible. My guideline, do I really like it enough to want to receive it myself? So that's how she decides
Of
what's going
course,
to be on here.
look at the judgment parameters. She's a multi. What is she, a billionaire now at this point?
Yep. But she still likes fun stuff.
Yeah.
You know, little
Maseratis.
Yeah, little Maseratis you can play with. Perhaps the most infantile is a onesie sweatsuit for adults, dubbed the jumpsuit. In L.A., relax.
I already have one.
Onesie, we're running $168.
I have one that has Michael Dukakis' picture on it.
Yes. Like a onesie for grown-ups, this jumpsuit is a pleasure to wear on a long trip because you can curl up in it and still look fresh when you get where you're going. The stripe down the leg sure does slenderize as well, she says.
Hey, have you seen anything that's this year's Snuggie? You remember like a couple of Christmas seasons ago?
I have. Did you see? It's like an oversized hoodie sweatshirt.
No, I have not
that
seen it.
That you can kind of like snuggle into.
So like you can pull it all the way up over you
All
and
right, so
everything?
you know how like you and I don't do things like this, or like guys, we don't like cuddle up on the couch and crawl up into like a little ball, right? and sit up straight. So it's meant for girls
Who bend their knees? Who bend their knees? And I know.
Yeah, who bend their knees.
So pull the end of it down over like a full blanket. I
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah, like kind of put the legs
I
over
do.
to the side.
I sit like this with the legs.
Yeah, it's called a huggle. Is that what it's called? Yeah, there it is.
The Huggle hoodie.
Huggle hoodie.
Case, go do it on our couch.
I can. I'm not flexible enough to do that.
I can't bend my knees up like that. I do pull my arms into my shirt from time to time, though.
Yeah, you
if
do
I'm
in
chilling.
meetings sometimes too.
Yeah.
What I
if I'm cold.
found out on
There are a couple things. The hand tuck under the thighs as you're sitting there.
Yep.
I like to build a pillow wall along my sides to keep airflow at a minimum.
Right.
And when you really want to get in cozy mode.
Yeah.
So that way I can sit down and fall asleep during the shows I'm watching.
Yeah, right, exactly. Case, this looks like a good idea for like maybe 3 minutes, and then I just start to sweat and like
Yes.
would not be able to get out of it.
I'm stuck.
I'm dying in here.
Bend my legs. I'm stuck.
Kathy's, I got the
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Holy Jesus! I need water.
Start having a panic attack.
Yes.
Yes.
I love when you go. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Can't breathe.
So those are Oprah's, some of her favorite things
That's
this
cool.
year.
Okay.
What about the $1 billion? Is that one of her
Yeah.
favorite things? No.
Please welcome the one and only Mr. Mickey Hart.
Yay! All right.
Morning, Mickey.
Okay. Wow, I love the way you did that.
Well, thank you. I love the way you're
that was really great. You had rhythm. You had rhythm.
See?
Thank you.
You know,
Who could ask for anything more?
let's get right into that. I love that you love rhythm so much. It's a huge part of your life.
It's everything.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not melody and it's not harmony, but it certainly is rhythm.
You were exposed to percussive instruments and rhythm early on. Your dad was well known and well respected. And
I wouldn't go that far.
He was a musician.
He was a musician.
Okay.
I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, really? All right.
But he did dabble.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
More
and
than
then,
dabble,
and then
actually.
you were working in a you had a job and you were
I had a job once.
a jazz club.
Once.
Yeah.
A long time ago. I can't remember having the last time I had a job. Just thinking,
You don't call this a
thinking
job?
of the idea of having to have a job just gives me the willies. I mean, what would I do with the job? Oh my God.
You wouldn't be a 9-to-5 guy working the cubicle.
No, I doubt it. But if I had to, I would.
You would.
Yeah, but I don't have to, and I won't.
Yeah.
But so you don't view what you do as a job? this work?
No, it's a service. It's a service industry. I mean, that's what music is all about. You know, you provide a place where people can come and have an emotional moment,
right,
and and ritualize. So, yeah, I know, and I think it's very profound, and I'm very, what should I say, honored or blessed or whatever you want to call it, to happen to fall into this universe as a percussionist or a drummer. You know, to be able to do that is,
But maybe even people.
It's a good thing.
Yes.
People who are maybe in the same situation as you, viewing it as a job. The fact that you don't view it as you view it the way you do.
It's not easy, but it's not like a job. It's like when I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is think of, the new day and what kind of new rhythms there are in it and how I can interpret that. And that's what musicians do. They interpret, society and whatever, you've seen or whatever it is, and they lay down that groove. And every 5-10 years you find a new groove, and you work at it. Yeah, you do work at it, but you work at play. You work to play.
Sure.
You have to keep your skill up. I play every day 2-3 hours.
Do you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Absolutely. In order to get up there and do what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an athletic event. It's not like lounge drumming and stuff. This is the power stuff.
Well, speaking of reinventing and finding new grooves, I want to ask you about John Mayer, because he's been with the band and touring with you guys for a stretch now, and I think a lot of people initially dismissed him as poppy and not the really great, incredible guitarist that he is. And from my perspective, he seems like the perfect fit for the Dead, because he holds you guys in reverence, but he can also hold his own. What are your impressions on John?
John's a sharpshooter.
Yeah.
He's a gunslinger, as it were. And his guitar, he's beautiful. He plays great. He fits perfectly in the band, and he's a nice guy. I mean, I know he has this reputation and all that stuff, but I've never had a moment of weirdness with him. He's just a very pleasant person to be around, and he plays his ass off.
Before he was a star, he played in the conference room down the hall in these offices. And I went to see his show that night, and one of his strings broke during the performance. He tuned the guitar to itself and he didn't miss a beat. And right then, I knew this guy had it, and I was so impressed by his ability.
I'll tell you when I knew he had it was one day when he was just joined the band. I had gotten him into this droning things, feeding back, getting a little crazy. And so during the drums and bass part, he got down on his knee and he put the guitar into the speaker and he started feeding back. And I was looking at him and I was saying, oh, okay. So I walked around to the front of the speakers, sat down right next to him, and I had on one hand I had what do you call it, lighter fluid.
Yeah.
And the other hand I had a Bic.
Okay.
And so he looked at me, I looked at him, and I said, I went like that. And for a minute, I thought he was
going to do it.
And then so he took it. He did take it while he was feeding back, and he put the he put the Bic on his amplifier, and he took the lighter fluid and used it as a slide. And so he played.
He didn't go full Hendrix on
and I said, John, you were going to do it, weren't you? And he said, I was really thinking about it, but the guy who makes my guitar is in the audience. I couldn't do it. He almost lit his guitar on fire. So I knew right then he was okay.
Wow.
I was wondering if you had watched the Grateful Dead documentary that was on Amazon and what your thoughts are.
No.
It was very in depth.
Oh God, it was just awful. I just did not like it.
You didn't care for it.
It was just a one-sided affair. It was not for me, and it really didn't show the Grateful Dead in its totality. It was more like a Jerry, whatever that is, memorial thing or whatever.
Okay.
He was trying to do, but it wasn't really. It didn't have the heart of the Grateful Dead.
Okay.
That's for sure.
There's been a lot done about it.
They made me watch. Oh, I watched it once.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to say I didn't like it. But that's it. I didn't see it at the premiere. Me and Bob and Bill, we went out and had dinner.
Yeah.
While they showed the movie.
That's funny.
We came back right at the end when they all started. And we go, okay.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you about some of the things that you do like. I was listening to the concert in Paris, 1974, this morning.
Yeah.
What was it besides the United States? What was your favorite country to play in?
Oh, Jesus, that's a good question. I think that I can't answer that question because.
Very much, Kathy. Our next guest is in to promote a film that is opening up on Friday nationwide in theaters. It's called Audrey's Children, and it's about Dr. Audrey Evans, and she is the woman who created the Ronald McDonald House, but so much more than that as well. So obviously the ties are right here in Philadelphia. Yeah. And we're happy to welcome the writer and producer of the film, Julia Fisher Farbman, is here. How you doing, Julia?
I'm great. That's such an amazing introduction. Can I come with you guys all the time?
Absolutely. Most definitely. Where are you from, Julia?
I'm from Villanova.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yeah, I know you went to Drexel, right?
I did.
And NYU as well.
For a hot sec. I
For
did
just a
their
sec.
summer program because I needed to know how to make a movie so that I could make this movie.
Okay, what were you studying at Drexel?
Communications.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
I'm
Okay,
very
so
good at talking.
everything's focused, and you are. In fact, we had to slow the roll because you're giving us all sorts of great information prior to coming on air. This was your first script.
Yes. First movie.
First script.
First everything.
And
First
producing alongside of it.
Yes.
So you took the dive into the deep end, and you're off and running.
Yes, I was a little bit crazy, insane probably to do this. Very rose-colored glasses going into this. Had this very lofty idea that I had to do this film. I knew Audrey and loved her my whole life, and I knew I needed to do this.
It was
so
a pure passion. That
completely.
The best things come from that.
Yes.
By the way, the film stars Natalie Dormer as Audrey Evans, which is she's phenomenal. Clancy Brown
Playing
for crying
C. Everett
out
Koop.
loud is C. Everett Koop in the movie, which is amazing. I love films like this. I love this genre. Recently, and I'm starting to seek out movies that I didn't know existed before that are along these lines. My wife and I watched a movie recently about the creators of in vitro fertilization, and that blew me away. I recently watched On the Basis of Sex, which was a Ruth Bader Ginsburg story. It was amazing as well. And I love especially the women's story in a time frame when they had to struggle for their voice to be heard, and they end up becoming just creating things that are beyond our imagination. So her story falls in line. How have you known her your whole life, or how did you know her your whole life?
Yes, and thank you for saying that because Audrey really is a hidden figure.
Yeah.
My family, we were family friends. They were involved in the first Ronald McDonald House with Audrey and supporting the Children's Cancer Center at CHOP. So I just kind of grew up around this incredible human. And it wasn't until I was an adult when I realized, oh my God, this woman isn't a hero. Like, she's not just Audrey, she's Audrey.
Right.
And then, so this is Marissa came in, our executive, our producer on the other side of that glass there. We keep her there because she can scratch. But the truth of the matter is that this is her favorite story that's not well known in this area because it's such a point of pride. And Preston talks about people not being recognized in industry. Now, she was not able to become a doctor in England.
That's right.
Had to come to the United States in the 60s, which would allow women to become doctors. And then, it's not enough that she's doing all that she's doing with CHOP. The Ronald McDonald House is such an amazing organization. And I want to see the film. And the trailers depicted her mindset, obviously with dialogue that you wrote about the importance of the fact that people wanted to be in proximity to family members receiving treatment but couldn't pay for a hotel. There's things that just, everyone has been touched by cancer at some level. And when these costs start to be put in front of you, it's such a daunting, terrifying thing.
When they were like cutting the treatment short.
Cutting the
because they
treatment
couldn't
short
stay.
because they couldn't stay. And here comes this wonderful thing from this wonderful woman.
Exactly. And Audrey created it out of necessity. She didn't wake up and say, I'm going to create an organization that has 1,000 programs in 62 countries and helps millions of people every year. She woke up and said, I need to treat my patients. At the time that she was at CHOP in 1969, unfortunately, most of the children weren't making it. And she was determined to change that. So she, throughout the course of our film, was transforming care for these children. And simultaneously, she's like, I need to keep them in town long enough so that I can actually treat them. So it was a necessity. It wasn't this grand plan. It was just, she was very pragmatic. And just mission oriented. And Audrey believed she was put here to make a difference in the lives of children.
And did.
Clearly still is.
Right, yes.
Well, yeah, and it's great. That's why that you're telling this story. So I also have a communications degree, and the very first package I put together was on the Ronald McDonald House. I worked for UPM 57, which doesn't exist anymore, but I put it together on that. So I was aware of her. I never got to meet her. I didn't interview her. We went to the house and, talked to some people there. But I think what's so great about the Ronald McDonald House, a lot of charities that you donate to, like sometimes you don't know where the money's going. You have to do a little research to know where it's going. Like with this house, you see it. It's there. It's built. There's people inside. And when I went, I talked to those people staying there who were saying, yes, I'm here with my 3 kids, one who's getting treatment and 2 others that I had to bring along.
Yeah.
And we're staying here for free.
Exactly. In the Ronald McDonald House Charities is absolutely incredible. They've been partners of the film, along with CHOP. And the Philadelphia House, in particular, the first house in the world, opened their arms to us. We actually filmed a scene at the house, and we went there with the cast and our director and volunteered. And it's just, like you said, you see real time exactly where all the support is going to, and you see the difference it makes for families. So I know Audrey, all the way up until she passed away, would go all the time, and she was in awe of the impact that was still being had. I don't think she even realized it was from her, honestly.
Yeah, it's something that exceeded her even in what it's done, yeah.
So in preparation for you stopping by, I wanted to find out a little bit more about her because obviously we know about the Ronald McDonald House and the impact there. But what I didn't know is who created it and why. But not only that, her story beyond that, because she did all this work with neuroblastoma.
Yes.
Is that the bigger story here?
I would say, yes, that is the big story, but they're very intertwined.
Right.
Because Audrey took a total care approach to care. So meaning it wasn't just the medical needs of the child, it was the emotional, financial, and familial needs. So you see throughout the course of the film the intersection of where those worlds meet and how it's evolved into what it is today. But absolutely, Audrey is the mother of neuroblastoma, and neuroblastoma is the deadliest solid tumor in pediatric cancer. So when she arrives in Philadelphia, 90% of the children weren't surviving. And Audrey was very, very innovative and very focused on research, which is just as important now as it was 50 years ago. She was pushing chemotherapy and combination chemotherapy at a time when people were adamant that chemotherapy was poison and you should keep it far away. And we know, of course, it still has negative side effects, but it was certainly the best option available. So not only was she pushing innovative treatments, but she created the staging system, which was the first ever for neuroblastoma. And now we think of staging systems, cancer in stages 1, 2, 3, 4.
As a standard.
As a standard.
Yeah.
But in 1969, she was kind of inventing the wheel, and she did it on note cards. So you see this brilliant woman on a mission to fulfill her purpose in every aspect of her life throughout the course of our film. And I mean, I think it's inspiring.
Yes.
Just a little bit.
We all do. That's why we're excited for the movie.
Julie, it's remarkable because we're lucky in Philadelphia to have CHOP, to have the Ronald McDonald House, to have people like Audrey who are able to do these types of things. My nephew had leukemia. He's in remission. He's doing really well. And something that I learned early on in his treatment was that people used to treat pediatric cancer like they would treat adult cancer.
Exactly.
They wouldn't treat children any differently. So what did Audrey do to help change that?
The staging system was huge. She said we can't treat all children the same. And not only can we not treat all children the same, you can't treat children the same as adults.
Right.
And the same thing goes with research. The drugs, the way that you approach pediatric cancer research is a completely different situation than adult cancer. And, you think about today and the fact that most of funding for pediatric cancer comes from the government funding and how crucial it is to then drive a cure in the future. And that is exactly what Audrey was saying in the film. She was rallying the government. She was talking to reporters about the importance of supporting research because the only way to change the future is to actually create new things. So she was doing that through the staging system. She was doing that through clinical trials, and she was moving very quickly. And you see that throughout the course of the film. And you get behind her because you know she's fighting a battle where she's up against the clock. And so she may not always go about it the way that is proper or correct, to put it lightly.
Yeah.
But that's the only way you can create change.
Well, these are the Norma Rays and the people who have to
Exactly.
take those bold steps. You talk about treating children, and also she apparently innovated ways in help. You have to be present for your own healing. To fight cancer, to heal and go through that process, you have to be aware. You have to be able to process. You have to have the attitude, the fight attitude. And she also worked on ways of relaying that information usably to children so that they could help with that process as well. If you think it's incomprehensible for an adult to wrap their minds around it, a child having to process that is a wholly other thing.
Audrey truly connected better to children than adults, in my opinion. She loved children. That's why the movie is called Audrey's Children. She saw every single patient as her child, as her own, and treated them as such. She would bring animals into hospital facilities. She was notorious for having little animals popping out of her sleeves and getting in trouble all the time. But as she said constantly, all's fair with kids with cancer. All we need to do is make their day better, make their treatment better. And Audrey was unbelievable in the sense that faith was very, very important to her. And, you know, when the treatment wasn't working and all other options were out, she could actually talk to children about heaven and help transition that for them and take the fear away.
You need those. That's angelic work.
It's angelic.
It's also the most gut twisting thing to have to do, and it's only the strongest and special people who can do that.
Completely. And she believed what she was saying, though. Like, she talked about heaven as a beautiful place where you meet your friends and you can bring your bongo drums. And she would talk to children about this regularly because, remember, at the time she started, that was the reality.
Yeah.
And so it was just, she was a special, special person, brilliant, kind, witty, and just, I feel like she changed so many lives. I don't feel like it. She did.
Well, she did. There are
She
people.
did. That's
There are
a
people
fact.
walking around, and people related to those people are walking around and on and on and on because of the work.
Go ahead.
No, you continue, please.
I was just going to say to that, every single screening we've done, at least a handful of people have raised their hand and said, I'm one of Audrey's children.
Wow.
And it literally has taken my breath away every single time.
Wow.
And it's exactly what you said.
Well, that's the name of the film, Audrey's Children. It opens on Friday. Now, we haven't seen the film yet. I've watched the trailer, and I did have a question about something that I saw in there. And since you were close personal friends with her, I want to know if this was true or not. There's a scene where C. Everett Koop is swimming, is getting his laps in.
Oh, yes.
And she is trying to make a point with him, and he's kind of brushing her off. Fully clothed, she jumps in the pool in front of him, and he's like, what is wrong with you? And just to drive home how serious she was about this, did that really happen?
You know, that is the question I get asked the most. It did not. However,
okay.
it is very much something she would do, 1,000%.
Okay.
She did anything it took to do what she needed to do for her children. So if C. Everett Koop was in a pool and she needed to talk to him, I know 1,000,000% that she would have done that.
But in movies, you have to do things like that to get that point across. She may
Exactly.
not have
Shorthand.
jumped in a pool, but like that's just who she was. So to get
Exactly.
how, who she was as a person out, you have to create a scene like that.
Thank you. Exactly.
It's a cinematic shorthand. Now,
Yes.
as the writer, you were on the set a lot, if not all the time.
All the time.
You're working with children, and it's my understanding that the director Amy Cannon Mann, who is Michael Mann's daughter, the idea was let them improv because you can't let the kids be the kids, and so as the writer. How are you? Is that okay for you? It's got to be, right? Because in the moment, it's the most honest, real reaction from kids.
Absolutely. And Amy was incredible. She did just a gorgeous job directing this film. Well, of course, there was a script, but at some point you have to go off the pages and take it to another place. And
There was no point at which you went, that was a good
no,
page.
never, because the actors, every single person who was on our set was brought to this project, I believe, by a bigger purpose. From the children to Natalie, everybody in between. And so when they were on set, it even though we were on set, it didn't feel that way. It felt like we were all a part of something
That's great.
really special. So things that were coming out naturally were things that I believe they were channeling as if they were in this situation. And mind you, we shot this in 23 days in Philadelphia.
That's unheard of.
23 days.
It's unheard
The
of.
whole movie in 23 days.
Wow.
So we were in very close confines very quickly. And so you can imagine the types of things that happen when you're in those settings. It's beautiful, and you have to let things happen as they are.
So Preston mentioned earlier how much he loves Natalie Dormer, and we all do, and she's the star. I love Jimmy Simpson, and he's one of the co-stars. He plays cricket on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He played Lyle the intern on Letterman years and years ago, and I just think the dude is enormously talented. He's incredibly funny. What was he like as an actor in this movie, and what role does he play?
Jimmy Simpson is incredible, and he's an amazing human being. I'm very fortunate to call him and the other cast friends now. Jimmy plays Dr. Dan Danjo, who is also a revolutionary pediatric oncologist, and he's the yin to the yang of Audrey Evans, who is this huge personality, just on a mission, goes about it her own way, and Jimmy is very by the books, quiet, smart, and supportive.
Which is totally atypical to the characters he plays. He plays deranged characters.
I know, but it's actually very much how Jimmy is as a person. He's a very supportive, kind soul. And he took to Dan perfectly. He got to meet Dan's family. And Dan was also a titan in the industry, but he was just very quiet.
Different way.
So the thing that's really beautiful to see in the film is this marriage of the minds. Like, they had a real love in the work that they did. They shared the same passion. And then they got married when Audrey was 79 and Dan was 82.
Wow.
It was a lifetime of just a beautiful relationship and life well lived for both of them.
So you had said that at the beginning, or maybe we were off air, and you said that it's taken 7 years for this whole thing to get together. And a big part of that is getting people to pay attention to the fact that this is a story worth telling, and this version of it is the story that we want, that you need to go with. You have to raise money. You have to do so much stuff. Yeah, right? You have spent the last 7 years slugging away, begging people to invest on this, I would imagine, right?
It's interesting. It took years. The first 2 years we're writing the script, and then it took about a year and some change to raise the financing. I don't ever say the budget, but it was a couple $1 million. And I feel like people just believe in the story. Like, it wasn't easy. I don't want to make it seem like it was easy, but I felt like once people understood what I was trying to do, and it's not me, it's Audrey. She is somebody who deserves to be on screen. She deserves to be a role model. And the people who invested in this story are people who understand the type of impact she can have on the next generation and continuing her legacy. So yes, it was very, very, very hard, but I'm very proud to be here.
All right, so then on the business side of things, because we're equally fascinated by that too in the world of movie making.
Oh, yeah.
What do you need from this weekend?
Everybody needs to see it, please. I mean, truly, this is fully independent.
Yeah.
Every sense of the imagination.
Indie
And
film is so awesome. The
Thank
best stuff
you.
comes out of indie films. Stuff like this, which is not a sequel, doesn't have. Listen, I love the superhero stuff as much as anybody, but these films have to be made.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And they're the hardest ones to make.
Yeah.
And they're the hardest ones to cut through the noise because we don't have big studio budgets to promote it and to get it out there. So I can't say how grateful I am that you guys have me on the show. Truly, the greatest thing people can do is go to theaters opening weekend. I know how hard it is to get off the couch and go, but it actually makes a big difference for independent films because theaters decide if they're going to keep it in theaters longer if you have a successful opening weekend. So that is this weekend. And tell all your friends.
Yes.
And
please.
just by the trailer, I mean, if you watch the trailer, you'll want to go see the movie. I mean, it's a
Thank
very
you.
well-made movie.
Thank you.
So 7 years in the making.
Yes.
Did you say did she have an input in?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
She was very opinionated. Yes, of course. Audrey, she was somebody who was very, very dear to me. And so when I was writing the script for 2 years, I would go over to her house every single week and interview her about her life and legacy, people close to her. And it was just a beautiful experience for both of us. And so Audrey knew exactly what the story was. I read her the script.
You had already done a documentary about her for Amazon,
Yes.
a hero series. And obviously living near her, you had all the background.
Absolutely, I did. And then it's like you take it to another level when you do it in this capacity. Because the Modern Hero video, and thank you for mentioning it, was very successful and took off with 17 million views and hundreds of thousands of shares and comments.
It's great.
And again, it's because people, their lives were changed because of this woman that I was fortunate enough to know. And so Audrey was very involved, and she actually passed away while we were filming in 2022.
Okay.
But before that, she got to meet the cast and the director, and Natalie got to hold her hand and tell her what was happening. I got to show her footage, and she said it was really good. And for Audrey, that means it's the best thing in the world because her standards were so high. It's the best endorsement I could get.
I have to ask you, as a local, you're shooting on this 21-day schedule. It's my understanding that you actually got the go-ahead, the film bureau and everybody involved was as wonderful as could be. You got to shut down City Hall.
Yeah.
It's got to be cool when you know this area. These are places you've been to. Any memories? Because my question would be, at the time you were shooting, I'm not sure if this was the case. How many years ago was it shot?
2022.
2022.
Yeah.
Okay, so lately, City Hall in that area has become quite the place to do street racing and motorcycles.
Yes.
Did you?
That was still a thing.
That was still a thing.
That was still a
so
thing.
what was all that like, and what cool access did you get? Obviously, you're on a film, you're working, and you're committed, and you're dialed into that. But was there any cool experiences from the locations you got to shoot in?
Oh my God, yes. Philadelphia was such a proud moment for me as a Philadelphian filming this movie here. And it's a Philadelphia story. This is where Audrey's life and legacy was. But actually that night that you mentioned, filming at City Hall, when we shut it down, it was a Friday or a Saturday for like hours. And I'm so sorry anybody who's listening. if you were stuck in traffic, that was totally us. But it was the most surreal experience for me, standing in the center with Natalie in her ball gown and Jimmy in his tuxedo. And Natalie's just like, this is what the magic of movies. It's like this moment. Don't ever forget this moment. Like you did this. And that was like honestly out of body, because when you're in it, it was very stressful. There was so much happening, not only writing it, but as the producer, and I have two wonderful producing partners as well. But it was like you're managing hundreds of people, you're updating the script real time, you're trying to make sure the locations are right. Like there's so much happening that it was really a special moment to kind of step back and be like, wow,
you can't
look
let
at this world.
You can't let it go past. I mean,
can't.
that's the mistake a lot of us make, is that you get caught up in the minutia and you're like, I should have taken more time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I even felt that way. We took over a defunct hospital in Chester where we kind of made our chop, where we couldn't build sets, but we, made it into our own in a really incredible way. Our production designer, Amber Uncle, was amazing. But even being there and seeing the world we created for CHOP, Madeline Bell, the CEO of CHOP, came to set one day. And she's like, oh my God, I feel like I'm being transported back in time. And that was like the biggest compliment for me, because I hold her to such high regard. And she wrote a book about that time period, so she understands it. So I feel like authenticity, we nailed it.
You got thumbs up all over the place.
I surely hope so.
If you're just tuning in, it's Julia Fisher-Farbman, who we're talking to, writer and producer of Audrey's Children, which is out on Friday, and it's about Dr. Audrey Evans and the creation of Ronald McDonald House and all these other wonderful things that she achieved. Do you, in the film, touch on the Ronald McDonald House connection to the Philadelphia Eagles?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yes, they're our Super Bowl champs.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, look, the bulk of the story, it's about Audrey. There's only so many stories you can tell, but you see, without giving it away, the impetus for the Ronald McDonald House charities. You see the Eagles, you actually see Eagles players in the film, and then you see Jimmy Murray, who's the co-founder, and his role that he played in helping to start the first house. So it's very much woven throughout the story. It's not the full story of the Ronald McDonald House. I hope that when you see this movie, you understand the need for the Ronald McDonald House, and then you go and look up more and learn about all the wonderful things they do, and the Eagles, of course.
In 2014, I had prostate cancer, had it removed, and Dr. Mike Sirigliano, my champion, great job. I'm doing well. I'm doing fantastic. But I started to get these accolades for, beating cancer in my battle. It was not a battle. And my reply would always be, there are children in CHOP right now who are waging battles. And it couldn't be in a finer place. And then that in unison with the Ronald McDonald House and that 1-2 punch and having donated some things to Ronald McDonald House and knowing that the kids would use it and so on and so forth. There's no better feeling in the world to tie into that because I remember, I was an adult man when I got the diagnosis, I'm like, what? I mean, you can't even process it. To know that these kids and these families, through this fine woman's work have had, their lives bettered and subsequent generations bettered because of this dream, because of good people who intercede, it means everything. So to me, I can't see how this is not going to be a hit for you because everyone has been touched by cancer. And if you want to champion people who work on your behalf, you may not know them, but this is a good way to sort of tacitly do that.
Well, thank you for saying that, and I'm glad to hear you're doing well.
Yeah.
But, Audrey says, spoilers, it is the last thing you see in the movie, real Audrey in the credits, so stay through the credits. Okay. And she says when you hear the word cancer, it's the worst thing that could happen to your child. You'll probably think, what worse could happen?
Yeah.
And she says, if you see this movie, do remember it's not the end. And that's because there are real heroes like Audrey working every single day at CHOP, by the way.
Yeah.
And of course, the Ronald McDonald House charities who are making a better future for these children. And my God, if we can't all get behind supporting children who are in these moments, then I don't know what we can all get behind.
If not for Audrey, when my nephew was diagnosed, the doctors, the oncologist, pediatric oncologist, they said he's likely going to survive, right? It's going to be a really difficult battle. It's going to be tough on Luke. It's going to be tough on the entire family, but he'll make it through. I don't know if that would be the case had he been diagnosed in 1968 or 1969. And if not for the work that she had done, we might have lost the kid, and there are countless others just like what Luke went through. So what message would you convey to, just to continue on what she started and what her fight is and was?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I think if Audrey were here, she would want me to focus, of course, on the children and the research. I think that given everything going on in the world right now, she would say, we must support the children. We need to cure cancer. She desperately, desperately wanted to cure cancer. When I would interview her, she said, the one thing she's disappointed in was that she couldn't cure cancer. And she believed that she could do it. And she stayed involved all the way up until the time she passed away. She was up to date on all the medical journals. Her protege, John Maris at CHOP, would keep her in the loop of everything happening. And she used to say to me, I couldn't get the job done, but I know it's going to happen. And we can't take our foot off the gas. And so I hope that when people see this film, they feel inspired that one person really can change the world and have a ripple effect. And even if you can't try to cure cancer and make a huge dent like Audrey did, we can do it by just being good humans who care about people, which seems to get lost these days. And she was just one of those people who I would walk around Rittenhouse Square with her all the time. And she would literally stop and cuddle babies. And she would, which made it, as you can imagine in Philadelphia, a little dicey. People would be like,
stranger danger.
Who is this lady?
Stranger danger.
And immediately I would be like, do you know who you're talking to? She is the co-founder of the Ronald McDonald House charity. She's a revolutionary oncologist. And they're like, okay, she could talk to my baby. But that's just who she was.
Who was that crazy woman?
Who was that crazy woman? I'm like, she's a rock star. You should be lucky. Anyway, I was her hype woman for sure.
I know.
But she just reminds you of the goodness in humanity. And I hope that's what people take away.
Well, congratulations. Now, the rumor is that your next movie is going to be a crazy frat comedy. Is that correct?
You nailed it. You're going to star in it, right?
Wouldn't it be a complete 180?
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Well, do you have anything else you're working on? You probably can't share with us, but you are working on more films?
I can share.
Well, go
yes,
ahead.
certainly. I'm working on a mental health musical.
Wow.
Because I know how to pick topics that people want to watch. No, I really feel
This is through Marvel, correct?
I feel like it's a privilege to be a storyteller, and I personally feel a really huge responsibility to shed light on incredible humans like Audrey or subject matters that people feel that maybe aren't represented, and I just hope people feel a little less alone in the world. So that's my goal.
It's a noble goal. Yeah, it is.
See how all we do.
So the movie opens this weekend. Go and see it. It is called Audrey's Children. Stars Natalie Dormer, Clancy Brown, and many other great actors. And it's about Dr. Audrey Evans right here in Philly. Brought this to life. Julia, congratulations.
Thank
we
you.
wish you nothing but success. And hopefully we'll see you again for
I
the
would love to.
mental health musical.
Yes.
I like that title, by the way. Mental health musical. That should just be
It sells itself.
All right. Julia Fisher-Barman, thank you for being here.
Thank you, guys.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back in a moment. Our friend Colin Mochrie is on next. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
Play good. You know, every country is the same. If the music is played well and we have a great time, France is great, England's great, Germany, it's all good if we play well. If we don't play well, the city sucks.
It's this place.
We blame it on the city.
Blame it on the city.
Of course. Franklin Port.
I also, as a fan, I there's an ebb and flow to the way I listen to your music, and so recently I flowed back to I guess I ebbed back to I ebbed back to studio albums. Do you I don't know if you ever listen to your own music.
No,
but do you have a favorite studio album?
Yeah, I would have to say it would be, it was half studio and half live. It was called Anthem of the Sun. I think it was our second record, back to 3,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was probably my favorite. American Beauty, Working Man's Dead. They were nice, fuzzy, warm.
See, my first album I ever bought was Mars Hotel, so I automatically go back to that one. And Unbroken Chain. And
we were never very good in the studio. We never could cage the animal in the studio.
When did you realize that? It seemed to be early on.
Yeah, well, we thought we could make, no one knew how to make a record. But I mean, we didn't know how to make anything. We were just musicians at the time, and we weren't really savvy on the studio. No one had a studio.
Right.
Now I have a studio. Everybody has a studio. So we just weren't producible. There was too much anarchy in the band. Too many people wanting to do... they had strong opinions of it. So, and we never really liked it in the studio with the four walls. It was too captivating. We were like a captive in the studio. And we never really made a great record.
You guys had a pop explosion in the late 80s when you hit with Touch of Grey and Hell in a Bucket, In the Dark. Was that fun? Was that cool? Was it neat seeing a whole bunch of people who maybe had not been turned? You always had legions of loyal fans, but here all of a sudden, boom, you had fresh music. And the tour was gigantic. Was it fun?
Oh, yeah, it was fun, but it wasn't quite like that.
Okay.
What happened was we were already playing stadiums at the time. That was in 87.
Yeah.
So instead of playing 1 or 2 days at the stadium, we're playing 3 days at the stadium.
Yeah.
So it really didn't affect us much. We just...
You guys were touring sold-out shows anyway.
We didn't feel it. We were playing stadiums.
Yeah, but you know what? I found out about you guys because of the Touch of Grey. There was a music video. I was young at the time, so so you guys had a music video, so you were totally reaching an audience. That,
we never did the videos or anything. We never did a single. So we weren't really part of the music industry. We never played that game, and. If we lived by the single, we would die by the single. If we didn't have a hit.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's funny because I remember becoming aware of the Grateful Dead, through the iconic artwork that was associated with the band.
Yep.
What's that about? What's that about? So that predates, obviously, videos, but still, a visual medium brought me into the awareness of the music, which is very cool.
Exactly. It mirrored the music. In the old days, how that started was these artists would come to the shows, and we were all getting high, and psychoactive drugs, taking acid and whatever. And these were physical representations of what the music sounded like. They would go home and they would start painting, and they're still high, and that's what these things were representing. They were representing the music.
How were you vetting that, or was it just sort of, if you want to do it, or would you guys kind of consciously say, I don't like that, doesn't represent our band right, or was it just an open open source?
Well, luckily in our case, the people would come up with these incredible,
iconic stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we just had to choose between the good stuff. I mean, it was so much
that's
good
great.
around. A lot of people went home and just did it, and it was uncommissioned.
Yeah,
they just went out and said, "This has to be done."
Wow.
And so then all of a sudden we looked at them, we go, "That's us." And they go, "Okay, cool."
That's cool.
That's it.
Let me ask you with the art and your painting. I mean, did people automatically take to it? Were you afraid you were going to get here's a musician trying to be a painter sort of deal?
I'm not afraid.
Yeah. So what was that jump like, and how well were you received initially? Because I mean, honestly, we were looking at the stuff. It's pretty amazing looking.
There it is.
Yeah. So what was that initially like?
Well, I didn't think of it as it's art. You know,
it is art,
came out. It's
right.
you follow the muse. I mean, you're an artist. You know, the thing that turns you on, makes you do things artistically. And first time I did it, I walked into the house and my daughter looked at it and she said, "You know, Dad, this got legs."
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Legs. He liked it.
Yeah.
And so if my daughter liked it, and she doesn't like much.
Does she like the dead? Does she like
that?
Okay.
So I said, "Okay, I'll paint. If you like it, I'll paint it."
You can take a look for yourself and see Mickey Hart's work. It's called Vibrational Expressionism, The Art of Mickey Hart. And Sunday, back out this way, King of Prussia, noon to 2. Is there a spot where we can go to get all this information, a website or anything, you guys?
I just want to meet the King of Prussia.
Yes, we all do.
And I want to see Mrs. Prussia.
Sure.
Mr. Prussia. And all of the little Prussias.
All the Prussiattes. Yeah.
I'm actually Mrs. Prussia.
She is.
Yeah.
She shops there all the time.
I heard that she cooks.
Oh,
You heard wrong.
have heard wrong, sir.
Wrong, Mrs. Prussia.
She makes reservations. Yeah.
I can make a mean reservation.
She makes a mean reservation.
She makes a mean Romanoff.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give some love to the one and only Mr. Mickey Hart.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming by, man. So let me go to here and more broken ribs. I have it says Walper. Is your name Walper?
Walter.
Walper.
Honestly, wouldn't you at least say
Walper?
Is this Judge Wapner calling in?
You got a nickname now, Walter.
Oh my God! Yeah, you hear what happened to old Walper?
That's not even a mistype. I'm looking at the T and the P are like nowhere near each other on the keyboard.
Walper.
Name's Walper.
Let me get that straight. Your actual name is Walter. And what happened to you? So what happened to you, Walter?
All right. Well,
All right.
I've broken my hand.
Yeah.
I've fractured all my ribs.
Were these fights over your weird name, Walper?
It's not my name.
His guy's name's Walper. I'm gonna punch you.
But at least you got a great nickname today.
Walper.
Well, hang in there, brother, okay?
From Touchstone Pictures, the inspiring story of a man named Walper. I've seen him. He's got some medical issues, but the worst thing is his name is Walper. And then a young therapist came into his life. Hi, I'm Kathy Romano. We're going to change that P to a T.
Simple as that.
And then his life turned around.
I'm the head of a Fortune 500 company. And I can do the saber dance.
That morning show's not making fun of me anymore.
Oh, man.
So the Kardashians won big as well last night, and they had a weird speech. They were trying to thank firefighters and stuff, and they they actually made their win a tribute to the firefighters. And listen, see if you can hash this out. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
This is
It's
Kim.
been a really rough week in our home in Calabasas, Hidden Hills, and our neighbors in Thousand Oaks and Malibu. Our hearts are broken from the horrific shootings and those who have lost their lives and homes, as well as the hundreds of thousands of us that have been evacuated from the devastating fires that are currently burning. So thank you so much to all of the people that have voted for us. This is such an honor.
Did you make that leap there? Did you make that leap?
Okay.
There's a lot of fire out there, but thank you for voting for us.
Are they dedicating the award?
It gets to that at the end, yeah.
All right.
I'd like to dedicate this win to all of the firefighters, the law enforcement, and the first responders.
Okay, that makes more sense. Okay.
I'd like to thank the people what put out the fires.
Like, it just doesn't seem very genuine
It doesn't.
ever when it comes from them.
You can see the guys who are really, eating smoke and battling flames up. I got great news, guys! Kardashian win was dedicated to us!
Like, I can just see them sitting around, like, when we win, we should, like, dedicate to somebody so it makes us look good.
Listen, I want to tell everyone up there on the mountain, you guys doing a great job. The Kardashians just donated their win to you on a field choice award. I just want to carry that into the fire with you.
That's the chief going on the radio to tell all the guys.
Attention everyone, Kardashians just donated their win on the People's Choice Awards to you. So I hope that inspires you to go marching into those flames and that super heat and that whipped up win. No word on Little Women LA yet.
Yeah. No. During the final night of the Experience and Innocence tour in Berlin, Bono made a comment that has fans fearing that this is the end of the iconic band. He said, "We've been on the road for quite some time, just going on 40 years, and this last 4 years have been really something very special for us. We're going away now." So that led people to think that maybe the band is done.
Doesn't mean that the band is breaking up or that we're going away or stopping performing. We're just taking a well-deserved trip to the Great Wolf Lodge. Where parents can drink while their kids ride down water slides.
It is amazing there.
It is amazing. Kathy says it's amazing too.
Yeah. Well, none of the kids would recognize you two, so they could be pretty, they could be in obscurity for a moment.
You
Anyhow.
can literally drink in the pools there.
You can literally drink in the pool and piss in the pool at the same time. If it's so chlorinated, it doesn't make a difference. I took a full level bowel movement and no one could tell because the water was so chlorinated, it just ate it right up. All the fecal matter dispersed.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
What's
I don't
that?
think that's no.
Oh, you did it as well, Kathy?
No, that's
You dropped a bomb in the pool? You popped a landmine out?
That's not.
You put a depth charge in the deep end?
A full level bowel movement.
And no one was the wiser. Even the edge was standing right next to me. He was totally enveloped in my poop cloud and had no idea.
No idea.
That's a quality pool there.
I think most people, upon moving into a house, remove all the demonic paintings. It's part of the deal. A lot of people will change the pentagram carpet for maybe like a light shag.
We had our house built. I like the fact that we're the very first people to own the home.
But are you?
Because
on an Indian graveyard, right? That's where you.
Yeah. They didn't remove the graves.
You know what? We had to blast to actually get to pour the foundation. So I'm pretty certain there was nothing below.
So it was
where
a lot of fun.
So what's that?
It was a blast.
It was a blast.
Yes, where you saw bones flying and pieces of coffin.
But I like the fact that when we're done and gone, or when we eventually decide to move on, that that was we made that. We had a say in how that thing was put together. And
didn't hear was where the owner was caught pleasuring himself by his wife. Unaware.
WMMR.
All right, thanks, Kath. Our next guest is joining us via Zoom, and will be appearing on Sunday at the Copeland Hall at the Grand in Wilmington. We always love having him on our show, and you get a 1-2 punch because it's two of the best from the Who's Line pantheon of people that have appeared on that show. Please welcome, because he's going to be joined by Brad Sherwood, welcome Colin Mochrie.
Thank you.
This morning.
Please stay seated. Thank you.
Nice to see you, Colin. Sorry, I couldn't help myself standing up like that.
Understandable.
You and Brad, have you done the two-man show before this tour together, just the two of you?
This is our 23rd year.
Oh, my God.
So the answer is yes.
Yeah, we've been,
Because there are different configurations. Sometimes you'll be with, Ryan or some of the other crew, and you guys get together. Still, you guys intermingle, and I wasn't sure if this duo was the running show that usually goes.
Yeah, we've been doing this, as I said, for 23 years. And, as you say, we do intermingle every once in a while. We go out with the other people. So luckily, we all still kind of like each other. It really works out.
Kind of.
You guys fire at such a high level of improvisational ability, but I think there is, when you pair well with someone, you're on kind of, so you're all in the same improvisational realm, but there's, perhaps with Brad, it seems to be the case that you're a little bit more dialed into each other. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yeah, I guess we've known each other for, at this point, over 30 years. We have kind of like a sibling relationship where he's the younger, irritating brother. And when I say younger, he's like, 60 now or something? I don't know. But yeah, we have a really nice dynamic on stage and off stage, and also trust, which is really important in improv. If I don't know where he's going in the scene, I'll follow along anyway because I figure he knows what he's doing.
Right. So you feel, I think you need that. I mean, years ago when I was doing stand-up, I did a bit of improv, and it was fun and it was great. To me, it was the more interesting part of all that because you could keep changing things up. But if you have confidence with the people you're on stage with, that means everything.
Oh, absolutely. That's half the battle won right there.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask about this, and this is on our sheet here, and I'd heard about this combination of hypnosis and improv. Can you explain what this is, and are you continuing to do these shows?
Yes, this is another tour I have because apparently I can't work enough. So in this show, it's called Hypprov. I work with a hypnotist, Asad Mekki. He brings up 20 people, hypnotizes them, gets it down to the best 4 or 5, and then they and I do an improv set. It's as odd as it sounds. It's been fascinating. It's interesting to see what these people can do when they're sort of out of their own way.
So has it made you think differently about? I'm always fascinated by hypnosis. I'm told I would not be a good subject for it. I believe in doing sort of meditation and things of that nature. But did it change the way you perceive hypnosis? Are people really? What would you describe their reaction as?
Yeah, I think everyone sort of has a mistaken idea of what it is. The people who are on stage, it looks like they're asleep because they're slumped over, but they're aware of everything that's happening. They understand everything. It's just the part of the brain that says you can't do this, you're not going to be funny, whatever, is gone. So they just immediately react to everything I say, like pure improvisers. And it makes for interesting comedy because they're not working towards the end of a scene. All they have is this time period right now. So they just keep adding stuff. And I'm trying to, I think, okay, we're going to get to the end here. Oh, no, here's a nice new idea we can play with. Okay. So it's really helped me, I think, as an improviser. It's really honed my listening skills.
It's pretty wild. So they're essentially like bereft of inhibition.
Yep. They just, we had one guy, I sang a duet with him, and afterwards he was with his family. His entire family was crying. They'd never seen him sing before, and he had knocked it out of the park like James Brown. And he was very quiet and self-effacing. It's fascinating.
That is pretty wild.
Wow. You had mentioned Brad, who's obviously you said is like a brother of yours. And Colin, I realize I don't really know anything about your personal family structure. And do you have brothers and sisters?
I have a brother and a sister. Yeah, I'm the oldest in the family. So I was, I guess, sort of the starter child.
Okay.
The starter child. We'll experiment and see if it works.
Yeah, we'll see how this works. We'll do all the things wrong as a parent with this one. Right. Figure it out later.
Where are they? Are your siblings? The reason I ask, I want to know if your siblings are as playful as you are.
My brother is. He has a good sense of humor, and well, so does my sister. But yeah, my brother is very much like a lesser version of me.
Okay, because if you are the oldest sibling and you kind of set an example for the other two, what kind of example were you setting?
I just tried to show them that you can make your way in this world without doing that much.
You heed that advice. It's funny you should mention that. My younger brother was kind of my older brother was 9 years old and was out of the house. But my younger brother, I kind of looked at it as an experiment. Like, can I create him in my image? And my influences were not good, but it was funny to see the process. Did you enjoy that as well? In a sort of mischievous way. Would you get your siblings in trouble?
Oh, I was actually, my brother would get in trouble all the time. So much so that there were times I took the blame for something he did just to give him a rest.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how good a brother I was. So, yeah. And it's been nice. I mean, I would say the last 15 years, we've become really, really close. So, it's been a good relationship. It's, family's good.
Colin, my brother crashed a car one time, and I took the blame for it. And,
Wow.
Yeah. Probably because I was the one who let him drive.
So you were not totally blameless.
No. I wasn't. I think I was saving my ass more than I was saving his ass. But,
Well, you needed someone to drive you to the liquor store. No, that's a good one. So either of them, did they ever exhibit any show business inclinations or no?
No. They both went into retail.
Wow.
So no, I'm the only one who, for whatever reason, decided to go for it.
Well, what did Mom and Dad think about that? When you have made this choice that you wanted to head down this path, I mean, it's as a parent you want to be supportive, but you also have a cautionary reserve in that you want to make sure that they're heading into something that's going to be lucrative, or so they can be self-sufficient.
Oh no, it's every parent's dream to have their child go and become an improviser. Especially when I did it, when nobody else was doing it.
Yeah.
My dad's thing was, do what you love doing. If this is what you want and this is what you enjoy, do it.
Mm-hmm.
My mother would send me matchbooks that said on the back, "So you want to be a lawyer." So she never felt as comfortable with it as my father, although it certainly is fine now. I did Hollywood Squares, and for her, that's when I made it.
That was it. That was the benchmark.
Which square were you?
Yeah.
I was top right, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Anything on top is good.
It's
I
worth
think.
it, yeah.
I was beside Kermit the Frog, who did an impression of me, which I thought was interesting. It was pretty good too.
So, listen, I watched Whose Line when it was, in England, and then when it was hosted by Drew Carey, and I always wondered when things are being shouted out by the audience members, and they're you're gonna improv this scene doing this, and what if you don't know what that is? You know what I mean? Like they'll be like, okay, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you have no idea what the reference is.
You have no idea what the reference is. How do you improv that?
Well, because we're on stage and we're the ones talking, everything we say is right.
Okay.
So they may have thought they were saying one thing when they gave us that suggestion, but this is what it really means.
Okay.
So we're just committed and wrong-minded, and it works out for us.
I mean, the old adage is if the audience doesn't know it's a mistake or whatever, it's not, but I mean, it's still you in the very demanding improvisational rapid fire way you guys are tuned to deliver. Have you ever had that moment where am I? Even though it's improvisational, I mean, to me, that would seem almost, a seismic issue if you are completely lost.
Oh, yeah, there's times in a scene. We were doing, this was a while ago, we did a scene, and part of the scene was the letter S would be substituted by another letter.
Oh, wow.
So I think that night it was every word that had the letter S, the S was substituted with the letter C. So we start doing the scene. This was the second night of a two-night weekend, and for some reason, Brad was doing the letter from the night before.
Oh, no.
So I had no idea what he was doing, and he thought he was killing it, and the entire audience was going, "What's happening?" He finally got out just because I just made merciless fun of him. But every once in a while things go off the rails, but the beauty of improv is that makes it even more fun.
Yeah.
The audience is in on the joke they can see exactly what went wrong at that time.
I do remember one episode of Whose Line where something like that kind of happened, and I don't recall. I know Ryan was one of the players involved. It might have been you, Colin. I'm not sure, but somebody mistook the word cellulite for celluloid.
Oh, yeah.
Was that you?
Ryan.
That was
Yeah,
Ryan.
it was Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were supposed to be selling a product that helps with cellulite, and he just kept saying celluloid.
Yeah. Which is
first
like
of all-
film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like an old term for film. It's like nobody talks about celluloid anymore.
And he was being corrected, but he still couldn't shake it the whole time.
Oh, no. He's an idiot.
Is it? Does it? So comedians will there's a little bit of jostling for even casually for joke supremacy. Is that a playful attribute amongst improvisational performers?
Yeah, I mean, there are certainly times where we all reach for the same punchline at the same time, which
Yeah.
is weird. But what I loved about working with Ryan was he got just as much satisfaction setting you up for a joke and you getting what he was going for and you doing it as he did getting the laugh himself. So I learned a lot from that. And there is, I hate using the word competition because it has kind of a negative connotation.
Right.
But we're not competing against each other. We're kind of competing with each other. So someone will set the bar and it's like, okay, this is where I've set. Now you have to go above it. So you just keep trying to raise the bar for each other.
Right.
And it makes it fun.
I did have a question about people who want to, take improv out for a spin, Colin. And I know it's clearly an exercise in with people, feedback off of other people. But if you want to work on it and you happen to be alone, because I would tell, like when we would have interns on the program and I give them some exercises they could do to try to get into this side of the business. And one of the things was when you are driving for 5 or 10 minutes or whatever, you out loud describe what you see and literally try to paint a picture for someone and tell them what you're seeing at that very moment the entire time while you're driving. So that was a really good exercise to use if you want to, be in radio. Is there anything that someone can do by themselves to work on improv a little bit if they want to, try to figure things out on their own?
Yeah, you can do lots of things. Like, if you're listening to music, some sort of instrumental track, make up a song to that. Even just like talking to yourself, making up little stories, playing with, making objects on your table, little people, and doing little scenes with them.
Okay. Play with your dolls, yeah.
First, make sure you're totally alone. Right.
Sure. I do that all the time, and I'm caught by my wife. It's something that I consider part of what what my job on this show is to be sort of that. Not at your level, clearly, but you do have to sort of keep that going. I mean, I think you also have to lose the fear that you will be discovered, as you said, or overheard, or perhaps committed. And just realize that that's a legitimate way to approach this, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Just be proud. Just be proud.
I'm insane and proud.
Exactly. I mean, I always tell people, even if you're not going into this as a business, it is a great life skill. It teaches you how to listen. It teaches you how to have conversations with people. It gives you a little more confidence. And it helps you lie.
Yeah, it makes you an adroit liar. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, because after, say, Preston's a musician and anything that you're performing, afterwards there's this rush, there's this energy. I think if you're doing improvisational comedy the way you guys do it, the wind down after has to be very lengthy because you must be wound up big time. So do you take a long time to come down from that?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, if the show sucked, then no. I immediately go to sleep.
No problem.
I just blame the audience and then go to sleep. But yeah, there are times where, you are kind of hepped up. We usually go for a drink afterwards, and we never really talk about the show. The only time, we never talk about the show. It's always, unless we're trying to come up with a new game, or if we've tried a new game and it didn't quite work. But yeah, I usually just go home. I catch up on whatever the news, watch the late night monologues. But yeah, sometimes you do get really, and I find lately, because we end our show now, we do a musical tribute to the city that we're in. And, only one of us can sing. So that really gets me wound up.
I can imagine,
Right.
yes.
Well, have your songs ready about Wilmington, Delaware, because the show is on Sunday. It'll be at Copeland Hall at the Grand, and you can get tickets through the grandwilmington.org. It's always a great time when Colin comes on the program and performs, and of course you and Brad are, like you said, like brothers, so it's going to be great. Thanks for checking in, Colin. Have a great time this weekend, okay?
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Anytime. Colin Mochrie is on the program. You know what? Real quick, you were talking about the hypnosis thing, and that's a different show.
Yeah,
Steve. And I'm of the same way. I don't think that I could be hypnotized.
Yeah,
but I did one time hear that the way the hypnosis has been described is if you've ever kind of just been staring off blankly, and just not really, you're just you're just zoning out,
right,
for a moment. Whatever, you're taking this kind of mental break. And someone might ask you a question while you're zoning out, and you might just go, yeah. Like you just respond without even thinking about it. That is actually a form of hypnosis. You're in kind of a mesmerized state.
I can see that.
But you took yourself there.
Yes.
That's the problem, having somebody else control where you're going.
Well, listening to and trying to, I am going to now be hypnotized. I'm listening to what this person is saying. And so, I think I've never been diagnosed with ADHD or any of that, but I have a feeling that it's there, that I am, and that there are too many things bouncing around in my head to focus enough to just zone.
So imagine me, though, however, like Dr. Rosenberg, has given me, this recorded sort of affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
And if I want to kind of lull myself into that state, I use that, and it gives me sort of the feeling of rest. When you see people on stage, and it's an act as old as time, the hypnotist who has people pretending they're chickens, I'm like, is that...
Me too.
Is that...
Yeah. Who's embellishing and who might really be taking on the suggestion.
Right.
I had it happen once, and I was definitely embellishing. This was at college. I was probably 19, 20 years old, and I allowed myself to be open to suggestion. But Steve, that it was a performance in the main hall where a lot of the performances were for the school at Bucknell, and I remember vividly it was not buck like a chicken, but stuff like that, right?
Right.
Yeah. And you kind of just go along with it. But I remember it sort of being like a sleep-like state. I also knew what was going on the whole time.
Could you sense that you had that inhibition had been removed vis-a-vis
absolutely
the hypnotist?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so that alone is something.
Yeah, and it was because what he was doing, he was good at it. He was able to lull people into that sense. Something that you guys have talked about a few times that I've never tried is the halcyon floats.
Yeah.
Is that at all hypnotic?
I found it to be.
Okay.
The interesting thing about that, Nick, was, and the first time I did it was, I think I fell asleep, but I don't know.
Okay.
Because you're in such a state of nothingness. I mean, like you're floating, so it doesn't feel like anything's really touching you. The water is the same temperature as your body temperature.
Yeah.
There's no sound. There's no light. And I'm like, am I awake or am I asleep right now?
Right.
And so
This
there's
is
a
not my
weird,
beautiful wife.
Yeah, this is not my beautiful wife. There's this like Twilight Zone effect.
Okay.
That you just like, I don't know where I am in existence right now. It was pretty cool. I had a weird little vision while I was in there too.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Hi, Preston. My house is perfectly appointed.
Nick, not everyone's experience is like that. I was wide awake, thought I was going to drown, and couldn't find the lights and freaked out.
My friend Will hated it.
I was like,
hated
where's the switch? Where's
Yeah.
the switch? I'm
Yeah.
drowning.
So I loved it.
I loved it.
But it's like this, Nick, for me. So I'm hearing everything in my body. I mean, I was acutely aware. I was hearing every nerve fire, every bit of fluid circulate, And that was so weird. But Preston's right. You are deprived of all senses. The one thing they did do, and went to Halcyon, great setup, by the way, because you're kind of floating in this mini sort of saline pool, which is sensational. They do have one little light to give you a point of reference.
Okay.
I would have liked for that to, I think you can shut it off but you know, and I didn't know that.
I went. There was a ball that was lit up, and you could turn it off and on.
I didn't know that
Okay.
because I think I would have liked to have shut that off completely.
Yeah, I turned mine off.
Yeah.
Nick, I went
Turn your ball off.
somewhere different than them, and you could leave the lights on, but obviously, you know, they suggest you turn the lights off, so that's what I wanted to try. But I also went with my friend Megan, and she freaked out, not as bad as me, but they give you this little like donut to lay your head on because you do float. It is pretty cool. And so when
Donuts.
she freaked out, she woke up and the donut was stuck to the back of her head, and she got out. And
Get it off! It's killing me!
Get it off!
This isn't relaxing at all.
So you both panicked?
Both panicked, and we were in separate different rooms. You're not in the same room.
Kathy, did
She
you
was like,
ask?
"What'd you think?" I'm like, "I don't know. What'd you think?"
Did you ask your lifeguard to leave, or did he stay there?
Yeah, they put wax in. I had to put wax in my ears because your ears are below the water level.
Yeah.
As you're floating, and so water would get in there if you didn't have them. But yeah, it's. I really enjoy it. You should do it.
I would like to
man.
try it.
It is
absolutely
well
do it.
worth doing. Yeah.
I won't go with Kathy.
All right, we need to take a break. Here's the deal. I have to leave early today. I have an appointment that I absolutely have to get to. So I'm probably going to be bailing around 10 o'clock, and you guys will do. We'll get to
Whatever.
Hopefully
Whatever's
wrap
left.
up music news around 10 or so, and then you guys can do the break without me after. So I want to go ahead and take a break. We'll come back in a second, a little bit earlier with the bizarre file. So we'll have that when we return. So stay with us, friend.
Preston and Steve.
Laptop was obscuring his vision. Follow me into the observatory.
I was wearing headphones too. I didn't hear her come in. Kathy shakes her head.
Headphone, like you were all in.
Oh, hey, you can't do that half-ass, man.
No. Clearly.
You gotta go all in.
He was vigorously providing himself with pleasure. His wife called out to him, but he could not hear because he was listening to his headphones. And here is the pool table where pool is seldom played, but clothing is for.
My daughter and I played pool the other night. Oh, there you go. First time in a while. She asked me to, but yes, it's become a laundry table. Oh my God! Yeah, what are the other wonderful things? What are the other
As they lead the tour,
horrible things that have
no
happened?
one stays in this house after night.
The dining room where no one eats, they drink, right? Isn't there a bar in there?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, let's not forget the old house with the haunted litter box.
It was on a rainy night when the owner awoke from many hours of drinking and raised a shotgun to the automatic kitty litter cleaner, yelling out, "I want to see you."
I've got a gun.
I've got a gun. I gave him 10 seconds to get out of the house, which I thought was,
We should all design haunted tours of our current houses. Dumb crap.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
My brother thinks my house is haunted. He's said that since the day we've moved in.
No
He said there's somebody that lives here with you.
Wait, your country
Yeah,
house?
my
Really?
current house. Yeah, since the day that my brother lived
You're the
with me
first owners.
for a little while, and he said he's like I hear them. He goes they walk around.
Wait, did you have the house built?
Yes.
Okay, so you're the first owner.
We are the first owner. There was a house.
Place is too clean.
No, but Preston, there was a house there that was knocked down.
Okay.
And actually, the man who has since passed away, he was a wonderful man, lived across the street from
I
me.
hope you rot in hell.
No, well, he did the masonry work on the house. And he told me one time, he goes, yeah, when they were tearing down that house, he goes, I sat outside and watched. He goes, I did, all of that work on the house. And I was like, oh my God,
man.
I'm so sorry.
So now it's haunted by Slender Manthe.
Yeah, so it's.
Slender Manthe.
I mean, I think it's just the house settling, but my brother thinks it's haunted.
These jeans?
Slender Manthe.
Do these jeans make me look hippie?
Big J.O.
Yes.
That's right, everyone. I'm here. I'm not Miss August or December.
No.
I don't know, Kathy. Any of that traffic, did it seem like something that would have kept Miss December out of here?
Yes, I think so.
I don't know where she was coming from.
Hey,
Did
will
any of
you-
that traffic add up?
Were you here one time before when we rolled out the calendar?
He was.
Yeah, I feel
I
like
was
we
here for a
were.
calendar. I was here for Philadelphia's hottest trans.
Really?
Yeah.
right. You
Did we
sure
do
were.
that? I totally forgot.
Yeah, Philadelphia's sexiest lady boy.
You guys met, right? You guys got to hang out after.
So I've never seen more women in a room and not a pube for miles. I can guarantee it.
There was a weird situation we had you in, right?
It was his friend.
Yes,
Yeah, it ended up being a weird situation for my friend.
But stories to tell your children.
Yeah. I mean, we all found at the same time, and I don't remember what time it was, but it was definitely too late.
That's awesome.
I noticed that, and I said to you right away, you look like you've lost some more weight. And is it a bigger guy who has lost weight? Do you get tired of hearing that?
No, not at all.
Good.
I'll take it. I tried so hard. Yeah, I did. Every time I do a television thing, I'm like, well, this is probably the last time they're going to let me on television. So I should try to get one where I... it's already bad enough I do comedy sitting on a stool. So every time when I did my hour special on Comedy Central, I had already lost a bunch of weight to get to that size. And then sitting on a stool, every time they film you're like, this camera guy hates me. This guy doesn't like me at all. Is that a pile of tires sitting on? So I knew for the Netflix special, I knew that I was going to be sitting again. So I tried again to lose weight. And then, I didn't lose that much, but then I also learned how to sit with my back arch.
There you go.
Oh, you're doing all the cheats. Yeah.
And I covered my nipples with suds. I guess some people stole my idea. That's cool. That's all right. I said everyone jump in.
It's funny because and it happens. This is why we're on radio. I mean, Kathy and Marissa obviously are they're pleasant to look at, but we are not. And when we do any TV or anything, I'm like, dear God, do we look horrific? And people say, there's a different angle. There's some people who've had actors and actresses come in here. They know their angle. They know, what's the best way for them to be their side. Yeah. I'm like, really? I
think if you ask those things, it makes me feel like I'm admitting too much bad about myself.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Like, can you not film me from, I don't know, obviously sideways and from the floor, please?
What we've been talking about news-wise, you familiar with this this scam that took place, this GoFundMe?
Oh, yeah.
So they came by.
Never try to help one bum.
They came by last year. They came by our Camp Out for Hunger right after that story broke, and we interviewed all three of them on the air. And we got word of this yesterday that the three of them were in on this together.
In cahoots.
Oh my
all of them
God.
in cahoots, and then the one who wasn't getting enough money, the guy who was the homeless guy, he goes to take them to court. Yeah, and that's
Tries
how
to sue him.
To sue him for not giving him his part of the scam.
Yes, of the stolen money.
Never help one bum. You ever try to give a homeless guy food? They look at you like you're handing them a bag of someone's dump. It's really, they're like, what am I going to do with this? Like you're like, eat it. It's hot. It's food, and they're like, what? They're so baffled by it. Do a GoFundMe for like an overall like shelter or something. Like to give it to.
There you go.
I've never seen that work out good where you help one person.
With everything else going on, the show and everything, what's coming up for you? It's been a while since we've seen you.
Yeah, pretty much just did the radio show's been doing great on Sirius XM, so pumping that out in the podcasts.
By the way, Dan, it was they were interviewing for something. They sent it over to us, and he was very complimentary about the show. You guys are always very complimentary when you're on other shows. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Getting the word out.
Oh, yeah, for you guys. Yeah, you guys are. I always think it's the coolest thing. The best nod you guys get is Joe Rogan, who needs no press anywhere he goes, always like shouts you guys and still gives you guys.
It's awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
It means the world to us. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you saw Opie from Opie and Anthony sent like a kind of wrestling promo for him not doing his show. Did you see that on the street?
No.
Oh, it's very uncomfortable.
Oh. It never understood those dynamics. It was never anything that we got involved with. You just try to do the best. It's like what you do. You just do
your show.
Do your show.
We tried to start a radio war with Bob and Tom, but then they disbanded.
That's a shame.
Bob and Tom. You for the Bob and Tom have been around for a long. Well, used to be around for a long time.
They're garbage.
Keep it up.
They're junk.
Yeah, I'm like, and I look
it's the worst radio show I've ever done.
Really? Why?
They want you to do bits.
It's a yuck fest.
And I mean, and I was like, yeah, you don't want me to do bits. Like my bits are too. And they go, well, that's how it works here. I go, well, I'll leave. Like, it's fine. And they go, we need you to do bits. I go, well, what do you want me to do? The one about this? And I'm just saying, like, vile things. Yeah. I'm like, if you want to do bits, it's going to be, like, I can't. I'm like a dirty comic.
It's going to be bad.
Hey, do the latest bit about your daughter. That.
Yeah. They got the things people, the hate mail I've gotten for that Netflix special, like, the things people have to write to, like, when someone has to cite the parts they don't like, it is so funny reading that.
Oh, my God. Oh, that has to be worth it alone.
He thinks there's humor about his daughter's genitals. I'm like, why? How can you write that?
Does that bother you?
No, you know what's funny? I said it to someone, I ignore it all, but, like, the thing is, it doesn't bother me. It just, I do still get an emotion, like, involuntary.
Okay.
When someone writes, like, this ruined my day, boycott Netflix and all these hashtags will start about it. And you're just like, I swear to you, the intention of this was just to make you laugh. Understanding it might make some people go, it's not my thing. But that's fine. But when someone's like, they have such, like, hatred for, and I said that what's funny is the complaint is always very personal.
Yeah.
Like, I've done nothing personal. I've just made, like, a broad spectrum joke that somebody can twist to make it, he's talking about this. And,
So we've had sometimes, we're good.
All right, Bizarre File, here we go.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by A.D. Moyer, trusted expert since 1939. A.D. Moyer Lumber is your professional source for decks, windows, doors, kitchens, millwork, and more. And you can visit them on the web at admoyer.com. All right, this is an interesting story. Lily Stewart, a University of Georgia student who recently gained internet fame for her widely circulated mugshot, has been arrested yet again.
She was the one that was, they called her super hot. Yeah.
Yeah, so the 20-year-old whose first arrest was met with a mix of admiration and amusement from social media users now faces more serious legal trouble. Stewart was taken into custody in the early hours of March 23rd and charged with obstruction of a law enforcement officer and loitering or prowling. Unlike her previous arrest, which some dismissed as a trivial speeding violation, these new charges suggest possibly a troubling pattern of behavior. Stewart was booked at 5:26 a.m. and remained in jail till she posted a $4,000 bond later that morning. While details surrounding the arrest were still unclear, the nature of the charges implies that she was interfering with police operations or engaging in suspicious activity. And this comes just 2 weeks after her initial arrest on March 8th when she was pulled over for driving 77 miles per hour in a 50-mile-per-hour zone. That's not crazy bad.
Not crazy.
Still not good.
Yeah.
And it was on her way to a fraternity party. At the time, Stewart's mugshot featured a bright, confident smile and perfectly styled hair, and it quickly went viral for some calling her the happiest arrestee ever. Following her first arrest, she seemed to embrace the attention. She appeared in interviews, discussing the incident lightheartedly, even sharing humorous reactions to her mugshot on TikTok. She claimed that her speeding was a simple mistake, saying that she was in a rush to meet her friends at a party. However, with the second arrest, the situation is no longer a joke. While her first offense could be excused as youthful recklessness, the latest run-in with the law raises serious concerns about decision-making. The charges of obstruction a law enforcement officer and loitering or prowling are more serious than the traffic violation, and she may have interfered with the police in some way. So I don't know exactly.
Loitering, prowling, do we know? I didn't see anything past that to explain what the worry was.
Yeah, that's all that I know for now. A flight from Dallas-Fort Worth to New York's JFK diverted to Atlanta when a passenger kept flicking the lighter they had brought on board and wouldn't give it up when a flight attendant tried to confiscate it. We'll play the audio here in a moment. The crew declared an emergency after explaining to the passenger that if he didn't turn it over, that they would have no choice but to get the Airbus on the ground. And this was the captain making the announcement.
This is your last chance. You will get the lighter back and get the Phoenix, but at this point in time, if you do not give up the lighter, I will divert the aircraft to Denver.
On arrival
in the vehicle.
On arrival in Atlanta, law enforcement removed the passenger from the aircraft and transported him to an area hospital for medical evaluation. Passengers wondered how the man got a lighter through security checkpoint in Dallas, but passengers are permitted to bring a single lighter with them. You just can't sit there and make fire with it while you're on
No,
board.
isn't that kind of like freaky if somebody's just flicking a lighter during a flight?
I would feel a little weird about it. So, meanwhile, video is going viral over a woman smoking a cigarette at her seat on an Istanbul Cyprus flight. Cabin crew confront her, struggle to retrieve the lighter, and the woman deliberately tries to light the seat on fire.
Yeah.
Cabin crew poured water to avert it. That happened in 2019, but has been recirculating on the past couple of days with this news story surfacing.
It's a golden oldie.
A couple of weeks ago, here's a follow-up story for you. A man named Jay Gilder posed as an Orlando Magic player rep and then ran with some Tiffany and Company jewelry, merchandise in Orlando. Police caught up to him as he was allegedly swallowing around $250,000 worth of diamond earrings. Of course, allegedly is going to be harder to go with now that 2 weeks later, it's been announced that he passed the earrings while being held in the hospital.
That must have hurt, man.
He passed 3 of the 4 stolen earrings on March 10th, and then the final one 2 days later. But what's puzzling law enforcement is the 2 additional earrings he expelled.
Wow.
If you're passing a diamond through your ass, what kind of cut would you prefer?
Probably the round.
The round cut, yeah.
Definitely got to go round cut. Steve, there's a show right now. It's on Disney, Hulu, or whatever. David Blaine.
Yes,
and he
I heard about it.
He
Is it
travels.
good?
Yeah, he travels the world. All these people that do insane things, and at one point, there's a dude just eating a mouthful of nails. Right?
Wow.
You know, I'm like, how does that go through your system and out without puncturing everything?
Hey, is it a gimmick? Is it? Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe he spits them back up. I don't know.
I haven't gotten to that part yet. I'll let you guys know.
So they have no idea where these extra diamonds came from or who they might belong to, but he crapped them out. He had extra diamonds. Yep. So you can call it poetic justice. CEO Paul Roberts has been sentenced to 1 year and 1 day in prison after pleading guilty on Thursday to committing fraud. And he is, according to federal prosecutors, Robert created $1.3 million in fraudulent revenue statements to boost his company's initial public offering. His company, Kubient, is an ad tech firm devoted to, quote, solving the growing problem of fraud.
Get out.
And so he has been sentenced to 1 year in prison for fraud.
He got right on it.
Apparently, this kind of reform starts at the top. So he is, he's poetically getting busted for that. One last story. A gentleman by the name of Arve Hajmal Holman has filed a formal complaint with the Norwegian Data Protection Authority after an unsavory experience with ChatGPT. Holman decided to ask ChatGPT, who is Arve Holman. The response from ChatGPT said that Holman was a man from Norway who, quote, gained attention due to a tragic event in which he'd killed his 2 children and served a 21-year prison sentence. Presenting false information as fact is a major concern related to AI engines, and Holman is now asking for ChatGPT to be fined for this. I mean, that could make things difficult for you.
If you can bring lawsuits for, where is this? In Norway? Where'd you say it was?
Yeah.
I don't know what it would be in the United States, but yeah, it opens the door.
Yeah, OpenAI says their disclaimer says that ChatGPT can make mistakes and advises users to check important info. However, Holman is steadfast in his belief that the disclaimer is far from sufficient for that.
Well, if it's reporting that you murdered your children.
Well, if this guy's looking for a job and somebody goes on ChatGPT to look him up and it says that, are they going to believe him? It can cause a whole host of problems.
They need to put a whoopsie-daisy function in that.
Whoopsie-daisy.
Sorry.
All right, and there you go. That's what I have in the bizarre file this morning.
I just got a text from our buddy Pierre Robert.
Oh, no.
And he just goes, are you guys doing the bizarre file already?
I knew it.
I said, yeah, Preston has to leave a little early today. And Preston, I'm sure you can guess what his response is.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. There we go.
Oh, dear.
Well, we actually didn't alert him to this. We should have.
Probably should have.
It's not your fault, Pierre. Take your time, pal.
All right. We do need to take a break. I mean, we don't need to, but we're going to. No, we have to because I got to get out of here early. I have an appointment. So we're going to take a quick break. Come back in a second. Hey, we have a concert announcement that is on the way with music news and trash and all that stuff when we get back. Stay there.
But occasionally, like if someone will complain about something that I've done, I say, okay, but everyone has a personal thing that's their thing. You made fun of this, but did you laugh at this? But
I did point that out. I wrote back to one person, and I was like, I'm not going to write back to anything else.
Yeah.
But the person
if the person is thoughtful, you'll do it.
Well, the transgender joke was the one that caught some heat, which I saw coming. And then someone said where I made a joke about wishing it legal to beat your children, but with like a focused reason, not just like crazy abuse.
Yeah.
Once again, it's like a joke. And someone wrote, as a victim of domestic abuse, it was like as a victim of domestic abuse, I don't think it's appalling you would make a joke about that. And when I wrote back, I was like, again, that has nothing to do with what my joke's about. And I was like, sorry that happened to you. But I was also like, isn't it interesting that you complain about that only, and like the other complaints I got were about this trans joke. And I go, and both of you only complained about the thing that affected you personally. You know what I mean?
Right.
That person didn't go, and this, and then it's always like, it's just the one joke that hit them personally. And no one sees that before they start taking to the computer to be like, how can you say this one specific thing? And you're like, you got to either be mad at all of it or none of it.
Right.
Well, you're not out to hurt anybody. That's what gets missed.
That's the bummer. That's the bummer when people get upset.
You're trying to make people laugh.
My thing was to make you laugh.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Understand that you might not laugh, but to have somebody go like, it's inspired you to go write like a 4-page letter to Netflix seems pretty like, it's awesome to some degree.
What kills me, Jay, is that and we always bring this up. Then there's about 45 million other shows on Netflix. Stop watching. Move on to the next thing.
Really?
Or don't listen.
You're making me look such a bad boy in front of these chicks. Yeah, that's right.
They're lining you up. Yeah.
I was thinking about it on a long ride on my motorcycle the other day. I don't even know how to turn on a motorcycle. I've been on a motorcycle 2 times. Both times we're behind with my arms around a man's waist. And both times I burned my calf on the exhaust pipe. 2 for 2.
I think the most telling thing was you said, I don't know how to turn on a motorcycle.
I don't.
Turn on.
Is that what we do? Do you turn it on?
You start it up.
You can make the sound.
I know there's something where I have to go like that. I don't understand like the thing. It's all like the YouTube celebrity.
No.
A social media celebrity. I don't know how that kind of came out. But sometimes like that Post Malone's got a song or two that like you're like. No. It's producers though. It's smart. The Cash Me Outside girl, I've gone 180 on her. We went from like just crapping all over to I'm almost a fan. I bought a new Explorer yesterday, and you have to name it. You have to nickname it in the Ford app.
Yeah.
And I named it Bad Baby. That's her name. That's her rap name. I love her. And
isn't it Bobby? Like Barbie? Bad Barbie?
No, Bad Baby.
Okay, all right.
Bad Baby.
Okay.
She is garbage, but I love her. I've picked sides in the Whoa Vicky, Bad Baby argument.
Well, she's fighting now Iggy Azalea.
Yeah. Well, Whoa Vicky. You want to put a good side by side? Look at Whoa Vicky and Lamb Chop. Remember Lamb Chop? Shari Lewis's Lamb Chop? I just really dated myself for all these hot chicks. You guys remember William Cat from America's Greatest Hero? The Greatest American Hero? We on the bonfire we do a thing. There's Whoa Vicky and some dude she was hanging out with got into they insulted.
They threw shade.
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
And then came back with an apology video that's like 30 seconds long, and whenever we have to apologize in the bonfire, we had our producer like verbatim write it down. There's sentences. Can you play it, PJ?
See if you can look that up. It's Whoa Vicky.
It's Whoa Vicky apologizes Snoop Dogg. There's sentences that go nowhere. It goes, nah, I'm saying, because we don't even know be like when it come down. That's no exaggeration.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Marissa's going to try and search that and bring that audio.
I believe in Marissa. She can do this.
At the end of the day, we respect Snoop Dogg because he a real OG,
Yeah, shout out to Snoop. I'm sorry for everything I said. I didn't mean it like that. I make people happy, do funny videos. That's what I do. And I'm sorry for everything I did. Towards you and towards everybody that's with your shit, whatever. I'm sorry for everything.
Yeah, for real. We really ain't know what we was saying. It was really off of the camera, no cap.
All right, it ends there. And by the way, that's like twin speak. By the way, that's
when twins share a language.
Yeah, nobody else knows what the hell they're saying except for those two.
I have no idea what they said at all, but we have it verbatim written out. So whenever someone gets, and they get mad at us, it's serious a lot. So we always gonna go. I like to say to John Fugelsang, "You a real OG. I'm sorry for everything I said and what I said be like, because it sometimes be like that, and then I ain't know what I says and that stuff, and you says." But we just like to say the name. He goes, "I'd like to apologize to John Fugelsang." So say, man, sometimes our sincerest apologies to Radio Andy.
I love the concept of John Fugelsang being known in the hip hop community.
John Fugelsang. All right, thank you, Big J. Okerson. Let's hear it from everybody. Thanks, bud.
Love you guys. Thank you so much, man.
The holidays are nigh, and Meghan Markle is about to celebrate her first Thanksgiving and Christmas as a royal. But by all accounts, it's going to be pretty weird.
Sparkle Markle?
Well, first up, Thanksgiving. Some question whether the American-born Meghan will be allowed to celebrate the holiday, seeing as it commemorates that time many English-born pilgrims set forth on a long and dangerous voyage to flee political and religious persecution in their homeland.
I thought she and the royal family were going to go visit with the dad here in the States.
Last year, Meghan celebrated with her mother, Doria Ragland, in California. What's going to happen is to be determined, but the Queen reportedly hasn't forbidden the celebration by royal decree, and Meghan and Prince Harry don't have any events scheduled for the day, so she may be indulging in turkey and stuffing behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for Christmas, meanwhile, we want to hope she doesn't eat too much gravy because, listen to this. I've never heard of this before.
All right.
She will have to be weighed before her Christmas meal, per a juicy new report hailing from the royal expert Ingrid Seward. Apparently, every member of the royal family, including Harry, Prince William, and Kate Middleton, must be weighed before and after dinner on Christmas Day.
All right.
Wait,
after dinner, and do they get to poop first?
That I don't know about. But
what is this about, this bizarre thing?
It's a tradition. Okay, apparently the Queen asks guests to weigh themselves to ensure they're being well fed.
Oh, okay.
And once weighed, the guests must enter the dining room in order of seniority. Once seated, the head chef carves the turkey, and paper hats are donned, but not by the Queen.
No.
So everybody has to
Look
wear
at us wearing our paper hats, and it's so much fun. Where is the scale so we can see if we've put a lot of food into our tummies? Oh, look, I folded a flap on my paper hat. Oh, what fun.
So much fun.
Yes. Later on, we'll go out to a pit and murder some peasants.
Oh, my God.
Damn. I've seen the paper hat thing.
Christmas.
I love Christmas. For the annual slaughtering of the peasants.
In a pit.
In a pit with our paper hats. And the one who catches my paper hat will be spared.
Oh, that's a nice tradition.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you and your family. Congratulations on your joint paper hat catching skills.
Oh, my God.
You're free to go.
Now for the rest of them, line up.
Really, the only way to enjoy Lorenzo's Pizza on the whole is to have some assistance. And we are doing that via a dental device, correct? Yeah. Okay. So
Black Crows at 9:50 with the Preston and Steve show. This Tuesday morning. If you have not done it yet, we have a Tuesday prize. But before you reach for your phone to text, we're doing it a little differently. And I don't know if this is permanent or not, but we'll find out eventually. But we're going to do this through WMMR.com now. If you go to the contest page at WMMR.com, you can enter for a chance to win the $350 gift certificate from Floating World Tattoo and Piercing on South Street. So we will give that away coming up at the end of the program, which is going to be earlier than usual today. I have an appointment that I have to get to, so that's why we are at this point in our show as of now where we are going to get to music news. So just letting you know, it's going to be a little bit of an early.
That's what you got to do. Say every once in a while, life has to take place.
Yep.
And that's what's happening.
That's what's happening. All right. So today's lesson question, we have a prize of a pair of tickets as MMR Rock's Not Dead Yet. John Cleese and the Holy Grail. And this is going to be, let me see here. This is actually John Cleese and the Holy Grail at 50, Sunday, October 19th at the Keswick Theater. The question that we pose to you is this. What receptacle will Steve be installing in his renovated kitchen?
Yeah.
Did not know this about him until this morning. So what receptacle will Steve be installing in his renovated kitchen. All right, so text the word Zoom if you know the answer to that. To 39333. We'll send you the link. You click on the link. It takes you into like a waiting room thing, I guess. I don't know.
It's how it happens.
It happens. You know what?
It's
Honestly,
magic.
It happens by magic.
Yeah.
That's all that I know. That's all I need to know. But if you happen to know,
there you go. It's happening already.
What receptacle Steve will be installing in his renovated kitchen, text the word Zoom to 39333. We'll do the trash while you're getting set.
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
And while we're waiting for our winner, we'll get some stories. What's going on this morning, Steve?
Well, Justin Bieber took to Instagram to share that he's recently been working on anger issues. Bieber says the support he's gotten has really lessened his desire to, quote, punch everyone in their big fat faces. Doggy. He lost his career after admitting to sexually abusing 3 underage girls over a decade ago, and now 77-year-old actor and deviant Stephen Collins has married a woman 40 years his junior. Colin says the upside of being an aging pedophile is that eventually all the girls you're going after end up being legal.
Wow.
Ow. And finally, notorious wife killer Scott Peterson, this is true, got a beating behind bars from an inmate he ran into during a game of pickleball. Convict Charles Miles told TMZ that the quickest way to get off in the big house is to cheat at pickleball or screw up a move during square dancing. That's your Hollywood Trash.
All righty, we will see if someone knows the answer to today's lesson question. We need to know what receptacle Steve will be installing in his renovated kitchen. So via Zoom, we're joining in. It says here Carrie is on. Hi, Carrie. Good morning.
Good morning to see you.
Nice. Good morning, Carrie. Okay, so what receptacle will Steve be installing in his new renovated kitchen?
A spittoon.
That is correct, Carrie. Absolutely. Carrie, hang on. Because you get to go to this really cool thing. We have a pair of tickets of Not Dead Yet, John Cleese and the Holy Grail at 50, Sunday, October 19th, Keswick Theater. Congratulations. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. via Ticketmaster. For more information, you can go to WMMR.com. All right, we'll get to music news now.
Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
Yeah. It's brought to you by Worldwide Stereo. Is your yard ready to rock? Don't miss the Take It Outside Spring Showcase on April 5th. Info at worldwidestereo.com. Rocking backyards since 1979. I know. And man, for whatever reason, the Phlegm Fairy has arrived at the very end of the program.
Means you're going to lose a tooth.
I guess so. All right. Do you want to do the concert announcement first or last, Case?
Whatever you like. I don't care.
All right, let's do it first.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
So, this sounds cool. This show is going to be Friday, September 16th at Franklin Music Hall. And tickets will go on sale next Friday, which is April 4th at 10 a.m. You will be able to go to WMMR.com to get the pre-sale. But I think it's so cool we're announcing this. I was actually just talking about this band the other day. It's Garbage.
Yeah! I love Garbage.
Shirley Manson and Company are coming to town Friday, September 16th at Franklin Music Hall. And you know who I need to mention here is our makeup influencer, Sarah Wren.
Yeah.
Because on Instagram the other day, she was bringing back Shirley Manson's signature look.
Oh, I like that.
From the mid-90s.
Yeah.
And I sent her a message. I'm like, dude, I love Shirley Manson, and you nailed the look, by the way. Having no idea that they were going to be announcing a concert coming up, which is really cool. She is badass, Shirley Manson. And like I said, the show is Friday, September 16th at Franklin Music Hall. Tickets on sale next Friday, the 4th at 10 a.m. And you can go to WMMR.com. There's a pre-sale. And also, Pierre is going to give away tickets all next week as well.
All the original band members? Like
I don't know. Butch Vig on drums, and I've forgotten the other band members. I knew them at one point, but it hasn't indicated otherwise.
All right,
so
cool. That's really awesome to hear that.
Yep. So Garbage coming to town. Very, very cool. All right. A couple other music news stories. Kirk Hammett of Metallica has announced that he is working on his debut solo album, describing it as a fusion of all sorts of styles. This project is Hammett's first full-length solo album following his 2022 instrumental EP called Portals. The upcoming album is expected to feature vocal tracks and show off a broader range of Hammett's musical influences.
So he's bringing together all sorts of sounds?
Yeah, that's what he says.
Here's the first single.
Those are all sorts of sounds.
That's weird.
In Metallica news, he says that he's accumulated, listen to this, 767 new riffs for Metallica's next album. So
don't lose him on his phone.
He did that one
He
time,
did that
remember?
once, yeah.
When's the new Metallica album coming? Well, he does not know. He says he doesn't see the band working on it for at least another year.
I don't know.
Which means that he has time to round that out to an even 1,000 riffs if he needs to. But yeah, who knows? But he's got lots of stuff that they can key off of, so we'll see how it goes. Evanescence is set to release a new single. It's called Afterlife, and it will be out on Friday. But a lyric video for the track will premiere on Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific time, featuring exclusive clips from Netflix's upcoming animated series Devil May Cry.
Oh, wow.
The series is based on the hit Capcom video game franchise.
I played it all the time.
And the animated series is scheduled to release on Netflix next Wednesday, April 3rd. So new music, new song from Evanescence. Korn has announced the Korn Canada Tour 2025, an 8-city Canadian tour scheduled for September and October 25th. September and October of 2025. The tour will feature special guests Gojira and the UK band Loathe. And tickets go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. through Korn's official website. The tour follows Korn's successful 30th anniversary North American tour that includes 25 dates across North America. And in addition to the upcoming Canadian tour, they're set to headline several festivals this summer. Welcome to Rockville and Daytona, Download Festival in the UK, the Lollapalooza in Chicago, which will make their first Lollapalooza appearance since 1997. And then finally, how about this? James Taylor's hits are inspiring a new stage musical called Fire and Rain. The singer and songwriter has lined up some major talent in the effort. Tracy Letts, the Tony Award and Pulitzer Prize-winning author of August Osage County.
Cool.
And The Minutes came up with an original story for the show, while Tony winner David Cromer, whose credits include The Band's Visit, is lined up to direct the production. Taylor is the latest in a long line of artists to get the stage treatment. Recent examples include MJ the Musical, which looked at Michael Jackson's life work, Ain't Too Proud, which explored the catalog of the Temptations, and Tina, the Tina Turner Musical.
This one has a real Ninja Turtles feel.
All of those had Broadway runs of various lengths, with MJ still attracting crowds 3 years after it opened. Taylor certainly has a long list of classic songs to draw on, including Carolina on My Mind, Sweet Baby James, Mexico, and the title song Fire and Rain. Of course, he is also known for some other wonderful covers of other artists' work, including Carole King's You've Got a Friend and How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You. Fire and Rain is described as being in early development. But that'll be pretty cool.
I like that, yeah.
All right, and that is all in music news.
Has Elvis left the building now?
Elvis is leaving as we speak.
All right.
I got to go, so hope you guys don't mind wrapping up the show.
Our pleasure.
For me, so we'll take a quick break. We'll come back in a second. The letter of the day for the Word of the Week prize and all that good stuff is up next. Back in a bit.
Preston and Steve.
Nick are going to put these lip spreaders in. If you've ever gone to the dentist and you have to get some dental work done, they do this so it pulls your lips up and your cheeks out to the side so they can get in there and work really well.
Yeah.
So it's,
and for eating purposes, Preston, it gives you maximum coverage of the pie.
Yeah, and my favorite is pepperoni pizza.
Your favorite is
pepperoni pizza.
Pepperoni pizza.
I like pineapple.
You like pineapple?
Pineapple. Okay. I also like mushroom.
Excuse me?
Mushroom.
Mushrooms.
Yeah, mushroom.
All right, so is this, Preston, the specifics of this contest, are we talking the quickest to eat one slice fully?
I don't know.
I don't know.
How about the entire pie?
Let's just see how it goes.
Let's just see how it goes.
All right.
And we'll see who ate it best.
All right.
Okay. You guys ready?
Uh-huh. Yeah, lick your lips.
All right, raise your pizza case. Get ready.
We have a split screen shot. By
Dude,
the way, you can watch this on Facebook.
Don't make me laugh.
All right, do what, Marissa? All right, cheers your pizzas. All right, cheers. And on your mark, get set, and go. All right, here's the first bite.
Oh my God.
Casey you have to let gravity take effect, right?
Oh my God! Look at Nick.
That's
As if Nick couldn't get any more gross when he ate.
because your lips are not assisting.
All right.
I love you, Sash. I love you. Yeah.
All right.
I love you.
Start eating.
He loves you. He loves you. Nick looks like he. Oh my God.
Don't make
He can't lick. Nick is laughing his ass off. Oh my God.
This is
Casey,
disgusting.
do you need something to drink?
I got it.
Okay, you got it? All right, so. Oh, Nick, did you take it out?
No.
Oh, okay, all right. Casey's going to take a drink. It's like a sprinkler.
It's disgusting.
Nick, here's some water if you need it.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much, Preston.
Try not to get any of it on the,
Don't laugh,
on the
Nick, now.
equipment. Don't get it on the equipment.
That was. Casey looks like he's looking at a UFO.
Hey, Maris.
Oh my God!
I don't want him to
Jesus,
knock
it's
that
up
over.
there.
Yeah, thank you. All right.
Excuse me for 1 second.
Okay.
Nick's wiping his
He's
mouth.
wiping his mouth. Casey, I noticed
Okay, sir.
you're using the gravity method. You lean back.
Yes. Yeah, isn't it nice radio?
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Nick is leaning forward, which I find kind of wild. All right, now he's tilting back. You got to let gravity take over. This looks like an inspiring story
Oh my God. It's
of
so
two
gross.
guys born without lips.
Oh my God.
It actually, Steve, it looks like the sequel to Hellraiser.
You know what, though?
What?
It's really delicious.
It is delicious.
Yeah.
It's Lorenzo's, of course.
How far along are you guys?
I'm almost done, Steve.
Now, Casey's about halfway. He's eaten more than you think he has. So
We want to do it to completion because I think they might hemorrhage.
I don't know. Case, what do you think?
Don't talk with food in your mouth.
Have more water, Case.
Actually, that'll help a little bit.
Yeah.
So Case is going to get a sip of water.
Kathy, do I have anything in my teeth?
I'm sorry we're doing such a visual thing on the radio, but this is just hilarious. Casey,
This is my favorite sweatshirt.
it's his favorite sweatshirt.
Did you get some on your favorite sweatshirt?
Damn it! It's an absolute mess. I tell you what,
It makes you really appreciate.
keep going.
Oh, it fell out. There.
I know they kind of slip out every now and then.
What?
I have no
They
idea.
kind of slip out every now and then. They slip out of your house
slip this-
Yeah, slip out of there.
every now and then.
Say,
You say?
yeah.
My dental.
It doesn't affect your yoga cards.
It doesn't affect your what?
Your yoga cards.
Yeah, your
Your
yoga
yo-
card.
Yoga cards.
Yoga cards?
What?
Yoga cards. Yoga cards.
Oh, your vocal cords.
I thought you said yoga fan.
All right, keep it going. I think actually Nick is closing in on perhaps
I
finishing.
was so hungry.
Yeah.
I think are Casey's lip spreaders a little bit bigger than Nick's? Yeah.
No, I think
His lips are almost pulled back to his ears.
I thought maybe Casey's mouth was a little smaller than Nick's, so it looks like that.
Nick is like a wood chipper.
Ew, Nick is drooling all over the place.
You can actually feed full pieces of lumber into Nick's mouth.
Not a delicate flower. My lip spreaders, I got from a dentist.
He got his lip spreaders from a
This
dentist.
is legit.
All right, we're closing in.
You know what, though? I would pay good money to see Kathy do this, to be honest.
Oh, that,
I would pay
with her perfect teeth.
good money. That's a pair. They're clean. All right, just going to put them in. Why not? And have at least a bite. All right, Kathy. Oh, I can't believe you agreed to do this.
All right.
All right, she's taking a bite. Let's see.
Look at Kathy's teeth are perfect. Look at
They are perfect. They're absolutely perfect.
This is like that special prom night, Kat.
How does it taste?
It's stuck.
It's that because you can't assist the swallow.
She actually sounds very articulate with that. She's shaking her head to try to get it down into her throat.
Yeah.
And there we go. Nice job, Kath. Not bad at all. That's
You want some water?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't believe she did that. Did you guys finish? Casey's finished it.
No, he's not. He cheated. I called no fair.
What did he do?
Throw it in the trash.
Oh, he
can.
did.
All right.
Look at this. Look at this. It's a cheater.
We're going to Secaucus for the film. All right.
Preston, it looks like a fish my pants.
Yes, it does. Stand up. Let's see that.
There you go.
I pissed my pants.
You did piss your pants. Okay, well, that's, you know what?
Declare a winner, or is this a tie?
I think it's a tie.
All
What do
right,
you guys
here we
think,
go.
right?
I mean, they both did a phenomenal job. Though Casey's human sprinkler impression was quite impressive.
I think you guys should kiss. I really do. I think it's. Oh my God. That is repulsive.
Food all over.
Oh man. You all right, buddy?
Yeah. You know what, though?
What?
I got to take my hair sweatshirt off to reveal my favorite pizza.
Oh, it says Delco. We're happy to have him here, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Rock is here.
That's how I'm coming on stage tonight, right there.
That's your song, right?
That's going to bring you out on
Take the
stage.
yeah.
I like it, man. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Welcome back to Philadelphia.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
of course. You enjoying your butternut squash soup over there?
Butternut squash soup. Who knew?
Yeah. For
Right?
breakfast.
What's the restaurant downstairs? Harvest.
yeah.
Oh my God, butternut squash. Kind of tastes like sweet potato.
Yeah.
It's really good.
You know, now there's endorsement deals available.
Yes. yes. Hey, I'm Tony Rock here for butternut squash.
Just in general.
Nothing gives you comedy cred like butternut squash.
And this is how you sell it to men. And fellas, she'll dig it too. Have you noticed that? Every commercial, when they want to sell something to men, it's like, it'll do this, energy, vitality, whatever, and then it's fellas, she'll dig it too.
Well, what I
and
love
guys
is
like, oh, girl's gonna like it. I gotta get it.
I love it when they do you'll be a
That's the Counting Crows on 93.3 WMMR. Everything that rocks. Preston Elliott had to step away. I'm standing in his place right now.
Absolutely. Right in his place where he should be. We have a little bit of light lifting to do to get the show wrapping up. He's on his way. As we said, sometimes you got to live your life, damn it.
Yeah, and so what we're going to do is we're just going to close out the show, and we're going to keep this lean and mean, I think.
Yeah,
I
we
think that's
go
the best
into
bet.
our office, and then we have our usual after-show prayer circle.
Yeah. When I woke up this morning, I thought it was Wednesday. And
I heard you say that.
Yeah.
There is not, listen, it's not like we don't enjoy every day. We love doing the show. But when you think it's a day in advance, it was great when it's the other way.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
If I thought it was Tuesday and it was actually Wednesday, we were one day closer
it's a
to
win.
the. Yeah,
It's a win.
Absolutely a win. But, all right, but it is a Tuesday. We're ending early, so I don't know if Pierre's going to be here in time.
I think you're going to be giving the letter.
Okay.
That's my guess.
He's not going to make it here in time. All right, but before we do the letter, we should do this because it is Tuesday. And our Tat Tuesday winner, and we did it a little bit different this morning than we normally do it. But our winner this morning is Keel Conrad.
Yeah.
Never had a Keel Conrad before. Number 14. 14. Hit 14. Hang on. You got. Oh, is it up? Oh, it's not up. That's why. Here we go. Sorry about that. All right, so Keel Conrad.
That is a cool name.
Yeah, you.
It sounds like a command.
Well, we did this via WMMR.com. I don't know if this is the way we're going to do it next week, but he went to the contest page at WMMR.com. He won himself I don't know, Keel could be a girl.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's right.
This person won themselves a $350 gift certificate for Floating World Tattoo and Piercing. Tattoo Tuesday is presented by Floating World Tattoo and Piercing, 1729 South Street in Philadelphia. For artwork, samples, visit floatingworldtattoos.com, or you check them out on Instagram at Floating World Tattoos. And congratulations to Keel.
You know, so there's a whole bunch of stuff with if you've been listening to the show recently, you know, we're doing a lot with Zoom, and we're doing a lot of upgrades. We appreciate you playing along with this and accommodating us on this. The end goal is that everything works better, and we have better ways to communicate with you, and Marissa's working on ways to make things more effortless.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of staging and trial and error right now, but we appreciate you playing along.
I'm really digging the Zoom stuff. You know, like
I
even
really
just
do
for
as
like
well.
contests and stuff, like, you know, I'm like, oh, I wonder where that person is. You see them, you know,
Sometimes we don't get to ask them.
Yeah.
So we've determined that Zoom thing is going to be something that we go to every now and then. It's just a Zoom break, you know, a Zoom check-in, because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right, so Pierre's not here, so I guess I will do the letter of the day right now.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
All right, today the Preston and Steve Show is brought to you by the letter R, as in Ratatouille. So that is the second letter of the week. And we are giving away a VIP experience for Disturbed, Wednesday, April 2nd at Wells Fargo Center. This includes a pair of premium tickets for the show, meet and greet with and photo with members of Disturbed, an autographed Disturbed merchandise item, VIP laminate, and more. And this is courtesy of Q Prime. Daughtry and Nothing More are also on the bill. Tickets for this show are on sale right now via Ticketmaster. And all right, so we'll log that letter. We'll turn that off. And then what else do we got to do here?
We thank our sponsors.
Yes, that's what we're going to do. Thank you.
No problem, man.
Yes.
Get through the lines.
There we go. All right. Now, Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by Acme Markets, fresh foods, local flavors, and also brought to you by Dunkin'. The Preston and Steve Show runs on Dunkin'. I want to thank our guests from today, Julia Fisher Farbman, writer, producer of Audrey's Children. What an amazing interview that was.
It was terrific. Chuck D'Amico, our program director, came in and said he was blown away by it. Yeah, a lot of people were touched by it. We love that.
Yeah, so that movie will be in theaters nationwide on Friday. And then also, thank you to Colin Mochrie. Colin's going to be with Brad Sherwood, and they're going to be at the Copeland Hall at the Grand in Wilmington on Sunday, March 30th. That show is at 7 p.m. You can find tickets and information at thegrandwilmington.org. We also announced a garbage show that is coming up on April 4th. Pierre will have tickets for that show next week. Tomorrow on the Preston and Steve Show, it is a Wednesday, so we'll do our normal Wednesday check-in with Fox Good Day. We're also going to talk to Mr. Papa, Mr. Tom Papa, that is.
Get to the bottom of the sourdough chips dilemma.
Yeah, so we'll figure all of that out tomorrow. And I guess Preston likes to say rage on. Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow.
Preston and Steve.